shodo-x.
Hey guys, welcome to the 24th episode of the Soto Pop Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
I'm ready for this podcast to...
start up.
Oh my god. Well, we did it, guys! We have a special guest! This time. It's the internet personality himself.
Hi! I'm the video games guy. I stream on Twitch. No, that's not me. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Vangelus on the internet. I really like Soto, so I'm happy to be on literally the podcast about Soto.
Yeah, as far as we can tell, the only podcast about Soto.
No one bothered.
Yeah, no one bothered.
You know what? They're all missing out.
They are, yeah. Because we got some real good news this week. And then also, for the back half, for our usual topic portion, we're just going to be picking Vangelus's brain about candy toy stuff, Soto stuff, just all of it, because we want to know. And I don't know if Malunis has said anything about it, but we are really big fans of your work, so...
Thank you!
It's really cool to have you here.
I gotta give shouts out to Malunis, who is our OG clip taker YouTube poster for WTF and TFW. It's a podcast I run about Transformers.
Yes.
That is some classic stuff. I'm now trying to post excerpts on YouTube, except I keep forgetting, and I'm trying to stay on it. I am doing all the TCG ones, but I would say that is in fact a bunch of work. So thank you for doing that until that whole whatever with the channel happened.
Yep. That was some weird shenanigans with copyright.
Yep, copyright and linked channels.
Yeah, that was
interesting.
That just to put into context, I had my own channel, and then I had a separate one for WTF specific segments. And at one point on my main channel, I decided, because I was very excited for the War for Cybertron game, I thought it was a real bright idea to upload the trailer, and then immediately got hit with I think it was the second or third copyright strike I'd had on my channel, and they decided to take down both channels.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
You know what? Guess who's not making video games anymore? That's what they get. No, that's actually really sad. Those were some very bright guys, and you know what though? Most of them don't work at High Moon anymore. So, sadness. That's what I'm here to bring. What's going on?
Sadness. Good. Yeah, guys. There's also some happiness with the news blog today.
But first,
this was,
before the good news, the bad news, you got to buy more Decade armor.
Well,
one more.
Yeah,
one more.
I did maybe not the most financially smart thing with this wave. Where I didn't buy 2 of this wave, but I definitely bought 2 of the wave before it. Mm-hmm. 2 extras of the wave before it to get not only the extra Decade armor for that wave, but this wave as well. And then just some extra bits that came in there.
You should feel no guilt. Whatever you've done, I probably did worse during Exade and build. And
that's fair.
In fact, during this too, but in this one, I've been trying to keep myself to just hunting Mandarake for just the bodies I need, and sometimes if they're packed with their armor, but everyone's trying to get the body, I'll just get both.
Right.
The Decade armor is I usually end up. I've been trying to get boxes when I can, but they don't always go up for order. So in this case, like with Ride 11, I think I might have a set and a box because I forgot to cancel one of them, but. It'll all pay off in the end. It's all worth it.
Mm-hmm. And in my case, I have been doing a similar thing to you, but on eBay. So maybe that was maybe that's not as bright of an idea.
Mandarake, you've got to be combing it around 2 to 4 in the morning. That's when the listings start to pop up fresh.
Yeah, when I was trolling the site for the Ichiban Kuji exclusive ones, that was like me constantly.
I'm happy, but I'm kind of mad that they're both just perpetually there now, because I felt really good when I caught Cyclone.
Dude, me too.
And now they're just sitting there, both of them. No one, Negadeno never wasn't there once he showed up there. So I'm like, okay.
Right? Well, I mean, actually, it took. I think I was the very first one to grab one, and then went out for like a day or two, went back up for a second, and then gone again, and now it's just there.
I actually, not too long ago on this podcast, I talked about how I was buying extras before. I forgot to mention, you made a joke about how, who's your dealer? Technically, that joke kind of applied because there was this one seller on eBay I kept buying from. Because they just kept putting up Exade armor and build armor with Gates and Zeo bodies, and I just kind of kept buying them as we got more reveals. And they were about the price of retail with free shipping.
I definitely doubled or tripled up on Wave 1, and then right afterwards, I caught a Mandarake moment where I was able to actually increase the quantity on an armor body.
Uh-huh.
And I bought like 10 Zeos and like 4 Gateses. And that meant I had all these superfluous Wave 1s, which I thankfully have been able to sell at local toy shows.
Nice.
And to folks.
Wow.
But, the local toy shows are why... this is a bad thing, kind of, in a good way. Having local toy shows here every few months is why I feel comfortable to overbuy a Shodo, because I'm like, well, I can always sell it afterwards. You know what never sells at my table, right, is all the Kamen Rider toys. They just keep stacking up, but, yeah.
Also,
yeah, I've been wondering about that, because I have, like, so many build bodies just ready to be moved somewhere, but, like, I don't know that anyone on eBay or anything would be like, oh yeah, I definitely want, like, maybe half of a build form that no one knows about.
That's where you take photos of everything and you come up with like a friendly price for the lot and just put it on Twitter and then poke me and a bunch of other people to retweet it. Because then it'll go somewhere for sure.
That's true. That's a good idea.
I've sold way more Shodo outside of my toy booth than, like, I always sell 1 or 2 at the toy booth, but like I just moved a whole ton of my build to a friend of mine. Because I was trying to sell stuff right before TFCon, and it's lined up really well. So it'll always move. It's just like you gotta only try to actually like really make anything back on the fancy ones, and then when it's like these were superfluous bodies or these are superfluous boxes left over because they came with the things I need, you kind of you start just throwing those in with stuff. Maybe don't even tell people. Like I might have just made someone have a Dragon Knight Hunter armor. Because they were buying things, and I was like, guess what? You get this too. Congratulations.
Oh man, you gave them an obligation.
I have like I think I ended up with like 8 of those things, and I also have like 3 or 4 in Daisoto because Exade was a real bad. It was a year of bad decisions that were very fun. Is what Exade was.
Also, speaking of buying these extras, I recently figured out what I was going to do for Ride 11. This one we're going to talk about in a second. I just I just bought the original Decade armor. Just screw it. I'll just get that out of the way now.
That's fair. Yeah.
I hadn't even looked. I didn't realize that it's just that mold over and over again. That makes this a lot less freaky, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. But the boxes have definitely been a lot more forgiving than they were with the armor bodies, because like early on the armor bodies would only come with like in the box instead of the set. Like the box would only come with like maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But the Decade armors, they know that these need to be separate characters and they're not meant to swap. So they put in the extras you need. Except for like one very specific wave.
I was about to say, they basically only gave you the right amount of extras for Exade form. Right? The Decade armor.
Yeah. Well, they are, I think they're doubling up here too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw a wave layout that someone posted. I think it was Army Tom or something.
Alright then.
That's for the box, right? Like not the...
the box.
Yeah, that's another fun thing to try to tell people now when people are like, I want to get into this. You're like, okay, so when you see box, that's different from set. And when you see set, that's not actually the set. That's just 1 of each. But some of them you need 2. And sometimes the box will have the extras, but also sometimes it doesn't. And then people start backing away.
Yeah. It's really hard. Like, this thing... I love Soto, but the 2 things it has going against it are, like, the stickers, people's perception of the stickers, and then also the insane way that they decided to to lay out these boxes or sets.
My favorite way to explain it to people is like really specifically with Soto as an example, and a couple other candy toy lines. Like Mini Plaw now is not that. Mini Plaw knows it's being bought. Like Bluefin brings Mini Plaw sets over sometimes, but with Soto, it to me it helps make it less frustrating sometimes when I'm like, this is a line meant to be sold in a 7-Eleven. Yeah. On the countertop. Like, the idea of having to get alternate, or extra copies of a body is supposed to be just go to your convenience store and grab another one. Whereas, those of us outside of Japan are having to order these like we're convenience stores.
Right, but I've gone to, like, a convenience store that happened to have these, which was mind-blowing to me. But they kind of have the same issue that they do just on online shops. The base body gets bought out, and now you're left with a ton of just regular armor sitting there. Yeah. And it kind of sucks because if they don't move those, they're not getting any more.
Yeah. My other justifier I've come up with is sometimes on the armors, at least, I'm like, I don't mind having a second chance at doing some of these stickers. So
that's true.
I'll just I ended up with a spare quiz, and I'm like, now that I did quiz once, boy, his stickers were like a flashback to the old Exade days, and I'm like, I'm actually really happy that I can hopefully do a better one because I have another quiz sitting there. Anyway, I have lots of this I'm going to probably moan about at the back half of this thing. I don't want to keep you guys from the hot, fresh news.
Right, yeah.
With the hot, fresh spoilers, fantastic. By the way. Like, if you haven't caught up with Zio, there is a spoiler here. It's from literally the episode that just aired within hours of this podcast recording, and I was safe until I looked at the katakana under the photo. So the blog still spoiled it for me. So FYI, if you haven't watched Zio episode 47?
48?
47? 48. That's where we're talking at, so FYI.
Yeah. So, yeah, spoilers, get ready for that, but, like, again, this really was made for a Japanese audience, so I get it. I get it. So yeah, we just got some detailed images of the Ryuki Decade Armor, or Decade Armor Ryuki form. Is that the right?
Oh, I never... Oh, I just looked, it says it here. Yes. Yeah, Decade Armor Ryuki form.
Oh my god, why is it that?
But you know what? Also... If you say Ryuki Decade Armor and someone tries to correct you, I'll push them down a staircase.
Thank you.
Oh, great. That's good.
I'm here to help.
All right. Yeah.
One thing that I always appreciate about the Decade Armors, when they show a new one, I just think to myself, they had to make an entire figure, almost, of this form just for Decade Armor.
Right? Oh, yeah. I feel like they might have hinted about something back when this started of like, hey, now we have these bodies, but I don't know if I misread it because I was doing a Google Translate. But like,
that's a very good thing out of context.
There's that's right. There's now a bunch of these like almost another full rider suit bodies that have toolings done. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I was speculating before that once they make Shinobi and Decade Armor Ghost form, maybe they'll make Soto Chronicle Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said,
yeah, that's true. I feel like they're going fan favorites first.
Oh yeah, they basically said with O's, we did this one because it is a huge fan favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, well.
I'm happy they can do that with Chronicle, though, where they can just, like, pick their spots. So, like, no, we want to do this.
Right? And, like, even the latest reveal was like, oh, hey, we heard from the survey, you guys wanted these, so now here they are, the secondary riders and stuff.
Yeah.
Which, also, I recently tried to log in and do the survey. You can probably do it without logging in, but I don't think American audiences are supposed to participate in the survey.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds obvious, but I was really sad when I couldn't, like, sign in and, like, get whatever arbitrary 5 candy toy blog points that they were shelling out. I don't know what they do, but yeah. Faiz is also a thing that's happening.
Yeah, I imagine
he's pretty good.
I imagine a lot of people saw this and went, "What?"
Because
it is.
And then
It is.
They full on clarified.
Yeah.
That this was the one and only Boot of a Soul specific form, and they were like, oh, now we're doing it. And it has like the least amount of frustrating stickers that I've seen, because most of it is silver trimming, which is really good. And like for me, a lot of the paint's been crisp, so I don't have any issues here.
Oh yeah, I'm into it. They whatever factory paint they're doing, like if it is costing money, it's paying off.
Oh yeah.
There was a recent one, now I forgot who it was. It might have been one of the Wazes where like all that really nice metallic paint was also all over the visor that the sticker's going onto, and I was super bummed out. So I was like, even if I'm painting this, I'm painting over this really nice silver paint.
Yeah. But this is all stuff we knew.
It's also the last of the stuff we knew.
That's true. This is the last of the stuff we knew, and also the last of the new news festival. Is that what they called it?
Sure, summer like festival.
Something. Something was translated as festival.
Yeah,
but
it was like
not.
It was something like the summer news festival.
Oh, okay. But that's not all they left us with. Now here's the spoiler part. So I guess leave.
Yeah, go watch episode 48 before you listen to this bit. Unless you were on, it sounds like unless you were on Twitter. I also was playing Transformers TCG this evening, so I wasn't looking at Twitter. Maybe that helped.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tsukuyomi!
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Tsukuyomi. Actually, I really couldn't tell with the blurred out image that they decided to post.
It was really spooky and mysterious, and then I looked right below it where they wrote Kamen Rider Tsukuyomi in large letters. And I was like, oh.
But yeah, I'm really excited for it. Came out of left field. I mean, like, I ran into it, like the spoiler as I was trying to get to this blog post.
This was actually
so
my
then
first
that
time
all just sort of lined up. Yeah, so like even though I just saw it like seconds ago, I was still blindsided by it. Yeah, this is promising. And under it says they are still like they still are dedicated to bringing us all of Geo.
Yes.
And
just to kind of reiterate that whole notion before, Soda wa yaru. That means I will make it part of Sodo. And
yes,
is that what that means? I've had it at the end of every one of our videos, and I have no idea what it means.
It's a very loose translation on my part because it literally translates to something like Sodo, something like that. Like something I will
Sodo,
make it.
I will.
I love that that's a real statement because it was halfway through build when me and some friends were joking that like our made up Sodo guy was just aggressively like writing on a notepad every time a new like Kit Bash suit would show up, going like you think I'm not gonna just like writing it down, going like at all the parts I need.
One more wave.
It's also worth noting. I'm just noticing I'm good at spotting katakana. That's my only thing I can really do. But I'm seeing that there's a whole lot of Sodo Zero. They wrote 01 featuring Kamen Rider Zeo a few times here.
Yep.
Which is the parlance for when we've had previous series figures show up in a current one.
That's the good news.
So, yeah, basically what Google Translate is telling me is that, these are going to be like retail figures. And there's no premium Bandai for these guys. On top of that,
I love how the Candy blog just straight up treats premium Bandai the way we do. Like when they've had these go up there, they apologize, and then like when they did Action Guardians, they were like, "Oh, I bet you think this is premium Bandai." No.
I think there was literally a point where they put in quotes, "I bet it's going to be a premium Bandai set," in some previous post.
Yeah. I'm really sure it was the Action Guardians reveal, but someone can go check that who's listening, I'm sure.
That's fine.
But
and that not being premium is why I was able to get 3 shoot, what's his name? Kaisers.
Yep,
One for each form.
I tripled up. I think I tripled up on Action Enemy with Kaiser, and then
I'm not the only one. Yes.
You know how I justified it? The Naked Hellbro suit, whatever it was called. I was like, that has those brown stickers, and I could add to all the suits that don't have the brown on them. That's the justification. Nice. Which I still haven't yet, but I'm gonna. But here's my question: How many times did you do Action Guardians?
I did that. You know what? Only twice.
Okay.
Sadly, only
when
twice.
When you said you bought 3, I thought you were going to say 3 boxes of Action Guardians.
I maybe bought Action Guardians 6 times. But it was from 2 different stores.
Wait, the amount of stores that you divided it upon does not negate the fact that there are 6 of them.
I bought 2 sets from one store and then maybe bought 4 from another store. I like Guardians a lot. I really like Guardians a lot. I'm very proud.
Oh my god, I've been getting so much shit from my friends for buying them. Like, why are you army building these? Because they're great.
Because when you buy a box of them, you get 5. That's why you can army build them. Like, it's not like, because I mean, for me, it's small fry because I'm the numbnut who overbought that Shodo set when they put out the Shocker Riders with the different colored scarves before this new one. I tracked down enough to get all the Shocker Riders, and then this new one came out, and I was like,
The hunt begins again.
Oh man!
Just paint them. Paint them new scarf colors. Add to the army.
I have also a bad report about this one. This was an accident though. I pre-order a lot of Soto on HLJ, and sometimes the names blend together. And the one with the Shocker Goons and the Shocker Riders had a very generic name, and I thought I'd only ordered 2. And it turns out that's true, but I had also ordered another one in another order with it, and then I didn't realize what it was. So I accidentally ordered 3 of those. That was
fine.
That was an accident.
Builders.
That's right. There's so many Gel Shocker combatments.
So
I feel so vindicated right now that I'm not the only one doing this.
So
truth be told, from what I can tell, we're the only 2 English-speaking people doing it.
There might be maybe one more.
There's
I tried
probably
to turn some people because there's that premium Bandai set of all the Bugster goons, and it's usually pretty cheap. I've tried to bully people to buy some, but they just don't.
The thing about like the aftermarket stuff, like I saw a Kai Soto build up for a long time, so I was like, okay, I can wait on Dai Soto build, so I can wait on Kai Soto Geo. And it just never went back up on Mandarake, and I'm really sad.
Oh, it will come back. So I went looking into this because I was getting bothered by it, and I was also like, why did this show up all of a sudden? So the stock that was on Mandarake, Kai Soto released. It's Kai Soto, right? I never got that straight.
Yeah.
Kai Soto released in a retail location, and that's what showed up at Mandarake. The premium Bandai orders haven't shipped yet, so there's going to be a fresh flood.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, this happened with Daisoto Exade as well. I
did not know that.
It was impossible to find for a while, and then there was a second run, and now it's all over the place.
Question for you two, since you both collect all these several dozens of Guardians.
Yes.
You probably know the design well. Do you have Kikai to compare? And if so, are you going to make your own custom Kikai out of one of those Guardians?
100%.
Okay, I was wondering how the proportions differ.
I haven't actually made Kikai yet, so I don't know. I did Decade and Quiz, and that's as far as I got so far.
As far as I can tell, at the very least, the difference with Kikai is that the chest armor is just permanently part of it.
Is it?
Yeah, all the Ride Plus stuff is like that.
Wait, no, it can't. Yeah, it comes off.
What?
Yeah, the chest.
On the Ride Plus stuff?
Yeah, boink.
Did you have to wiggle it?
Oh.
No, I just...
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
I mean, a little wiggle.
Just had to pull it a little bit harder.
You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, this will be for the podcast folks with eyes that can't see this. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pulled it off.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
okay. Also,
Yeah.
by the way, I had no idea he shared parts with any of the Guardians, and now I'm seeing it in the legs immediately, so that's news to me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like this is just a Guardian.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that's why I was so hyped for Kikai, because he was just another Guardian.
He could be the leader.
Yeah.
I've
Well, no, now that means I have to get another one.
Well, I mean, you got to get another one. Eventually, you got to get enough copies of Ride Plus to use all the different Decade stickers, right?
Oh. Wait, you had that thought too.
I might have already started.
Oh my god. Okay, well, look, I have a slight justification for that one.
I do too.
What if...
I do too. I gotta ask you: is it? Oh, I can use the extra open hands as well on Shinobi and Kikai and Quiz.
No, because the hands are slightly different.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just going off the Candy blog where they're like, "Hey, if you don't show the knuckles, it looks good."
Oh,
enough.
that was a lie. That they wholesale lied to me. I was so upset that those weren't like. But so my justification is, and you might end up having to buy more stuff after what I say. Then you take the belt, the extra belt, and you put it on the existing Soto riders. You take a build,
Yeah.
like a Daisoto build, swap out the belts and the weapons, and now you have Decade in build form and build in Decade form, because all that build was able to do, like all his like anniversary stuff, it just turned him into that rider form.
Yeah. So I was able to I had that crossed my mind, and it's like that's gonna be the one where that's a happy happenstance. Because for some reason there's a divide in my mind between I'm gonna get copies of main riders to put Decade belts onto, because that's a form. I can tell myself, nah, that's silly. Although I say that, I also bought Waz bodies for every Waz armor, and I'm probably gonna end up getting several Waz finalies.
Yes! Yes! That is exactly why I bought those 2 extra sets, because it has the extra Waz finalies.
Yeah, but you know what? They made base stickers for those, so to me that's a justification.
That is exactly what I've been saying. Oh my god.
Malunis is just sitting there going like, "Oh boy, I guess I'm the doctor in the room."
See, whoever's listening to this, I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy.
That's right.
My justification for it is, it's not a rider armor, it's just a power up form, I can skip it.
That's the same thing to do. That's the same thing to do.
Yes,
But
yes.
what are you gonna put on the display base?
Was finally.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Or you could be someone who specifically doesn't put stickers on the display base. There's probably someone.
I can't imagine not doing that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just...
Because, like, honestly, that's like... For me, that's like the cherry on top when I'm stickering. Like, if the entire build was hard, then I go like, ooh, but this one, bam, done.
Or if you just did a really hard one, you want to do one more, and you're like, what if I start with the base sticker? Just to, like, convince myself I'm good at this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
hype yourself up.
The thing that I did with extras is that, first of all, I gave both of these weapons to Kikai.
Excellent.
I also
for those of you who can't see,
Yeah.
it's the
Gigant.
G4?
Yeah.
Rocket launcher somethings?
Yep. And then
that's the technical name.
I was thinking Quiz needs a weapon, and I remembered, of the extras that I got, I do have a Quiz armor set with one of his weapons, so I just painted it up.
Yeah,
that's smart.
And also,
hey,
that is good.
You're using that open hand on Shinobi, so I'm feeling rejustified again.
Well, I was about to say, I did something crazy, and I have extras of the Decade armor Ghost form and X8 form, so I have the hands for those two.
Ooh. Oh,
yep.
I have extras of the... I gotta go.
Yes. And for Kikai, I went the extra mile, and you know that red plastic Gates armor body that they decided to eventually make?
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
use for that because I painted all mine red. So I took those hands and just like shaved off the plastic on top to make it flat like the Guardian hands, and then painted it gold.
So I've legit been thinking of shaving down the extra Decade Open hands to just make them match these guys.
That's fair. That's fair.
And my second quiz, I should mention, for all the modeling I'm willing to do, I have this very strange attachment to the aesthetic of the stickering. So the second quiz was primarily to get a second copy of his knuckle stickers.
Yeah, that's fair. I would do that too.
So now you can put that on the open hands for Xaid.
That's right.
Yeah.
The sickness is good.
It's a good sickness. You know what? We're having craft time. We're doing constructive stuff.
Yes.
It's healthy for the brain.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm healthy, is what I tell myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing? The
So,
news.
The news, yeah. So it's Tsukuyomi, and they also listed those 3 movie writers, and then the movie form, the OMA form.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They are going to do all those, and they are probably going to be in 0-1 waves featuring all of our
and then
folks.
I was also going to say, this is the technically first confirmation of, hey, we're doing Soto 01. Surprise.
I mean, technically, yeah.
Could you imagine, though, if this blog at this point was going to say we're not, like how much of a we're also going to burn the building down the blog post would be?
Yeah.
Because this team really feels like they've gone not just renegade, but like very confidently renegade.
Yeah. Like, they've had to invoke some dark magics to make almost all of this stuff retail.
Yeah.
So far, the only premium Bandai thing that's been released for Geo, I think it was the Time Machines.
That
Oh
and,
yeah, those other ones.
and the Another Writers, which I guess sadly shows how well those did.
Were those premium Bandai?
I think they said it.
Oh,
Wait.
well, no, because those were orderable at least through
Yeah.
retailers.
Oh,
No, those
maybe,
aren't.
maybe.
Wait, this is the second set premium?
I was able to order that one online, so I'm guessing
Oh,
it's.
no.
Oh,
Maybe
right,
not.
yeah. So did I.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe,
But hey,
there's
you know what also?
there's a
is
lot of of Soto Chronicled as premium Bandai, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That's where it's all going.
That's true. Yeah. Oh man, the double one was a chore to get.
I was able to snag that and felt super badass. I haven't built it yet.
Yeah, me too. It's how do you feel about the main guys themselves?
I still haven't built them yet either.
Oh, good.
I have quite a stack of unbuilt Soto. I pre-order it a lot, but I'm very slow to actually get it built.
That's fair.
I got some news for you about the premium Bandai set. They included stickers for all the possible combinations.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they did. So that's one though where I'm like, Luna Trigger, Heat Metal, and Cyclone Joker are so like definitively those forms that like I don't need the in-betweens.
Yeah,
So that's why
that's where I give them a dirty look, and I go, I hold up my build final premium Bandai set, and I'm like, where are all the extra belts for me then?
See, I was briefly speculating before we actually read the text about Tsukuyomi being a retail thing. I was saying it'd be kind of funny if there was a premium Bandai set where they're like, hey, we made like 25 Ziku drivers that don't have ride watches in them, and Tsukuyomi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then hands with ride watches in them. That'd be neat.
And just a bunch of decade hands as well with cards, because why not? We gave you like 7 of those.
Oh, of course, yeah. But you know what we're not getting? Any premium Bandai, like any final premium Bandai product
Woo!
for this year and 01.
Well, did they say that?
I think. It says, we will also record this in 01's Soto series.
So the Zio figures are being in the 01 series.
Oh, there's a thing down here that
is
also is mentioning tilde final. I haven't run this through translator yet.
That's fine. It says, there will be no final premium Bandai products this year.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it says here's how my brain works. I see final. I see Puraban, so it's premium Bandai,
Uh-huh.
and I see Arimasen on the end, which means not existing. So interesting. It sounds like they're not going to do a final set, and to be honest, I'm looking at this. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you'd do.
Yeah.
No, so my theory was that since we got Kai Soto, main 3 guys, and last year we did Dai Soto, Rogue, and Grease to finish out the bunch.
Yeah.
We had just confirmed that, like, new Decade form and new DN form were now part of the Geo, like, under the Geo umbrella. So I was speculating we'd get those 2 and then just some extra stuff.
And,
yeah, I mean, there's extra stuff I could think of, and I still have hopes. Maybe it won't be a final, but, like, for everything they're saying, I'm like, and they borderline acknowledged it, right? That, like, everyone thought they were going to do Aqua.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you guys have now created, and I won't say created. They're a team who are aware that there is now a stigma around doing Aqua. And I'm sure that it's at least on a whiteboard somewhere, or getting a CAD model or something, of like...
Yeah, I'm gonna be very upset
as soon as they announced Soto O's, I was just like,
Oh boy!
Yeah.
So, and the Chronicles, they have room for a premium Bandai set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want it. That's what I want.
Premium
That's
wet
all
boy.
I want. Premium wet boy.
I'm astonished that we're at the point where it's like it's completely just taken for granted that we can be like, oh yeah, so we're, aside from all of the waves that we just got and all the extra sets, and none of it is premium Bandai, the other Shodo line, we're pretty sure we'll also get a premium Bandai. Like that was that other Shodo line was supposed to be Shodo once upon a time.
Yeah.
Shodo got its breakfast ate. Like it's amazing.
Well, like it didn't the guy running this blog before, he moved over there.
Yeah.
And like he's been doing Shodo-x and Shodo-O, which is like really good.
Shodo-O is such a friggin' like, oh, the Soto folks got here kind of set. Like that's action enemies right there.
Yeah.
And
so yeah.
I was trying to think. Oh yeah, on the subject of premium Bandai set, we were collectively agreeing that they could probably do a set with Mirror World Zeo, the remaining Decade armors, and it turns out they basically said that Ride 11 was going to be the movie stuff, but we couldn't get them done in time, so here's all these, and it just kind of made me go, huh.
I could definitely see that, like, once upon a time there was going to be a final with another Zeo and Mirror Zeo. Like, those and those Waz bookhands feel like final set kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Josh, our other co-host, basically said, so I predicted all of this would come true, I just got it completely wrong about where it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is great. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah.
But I wonder, it poses the question, like, there are 5 Geo forms that they are going to need to do in during 01, and then also
presumably 2 different build-related things.
2, but they might be able to fit it into one box, or 2 boxes.
Here's the head of one.
What? Yeah. The head of one, but I hope they don't. So, like, we have, like, the 5 other guys, and then we have Grease, Perfect Kingdom, and then Metal Build, but I'm really hoping they just give us another Hazard body, because I don't want to track down another. Did you do that too?
I did. That was not actually something I meant to do, though. That happened while buying other build dupes. I'd be like, what else is on this Mandarake? And it's like, here's a 300 yen build hazard. I'm like, well, if I'm already doing this, then
might as well.
Well, it's already happening.
By now we know they're doing everything in build, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, at there are 6 to 7 not 01 related Soto figures that need to make it out at retail, presumably. I don't know if Perfect Kingdom and Metal Build are going to be, but hopefully they will.
It's assumed that they might make their way out there.
Right. And that would be, since we have 11 waves and we only do 1 per wave, that would fill up
most of 01.
5 or 6. Yeah, 6 or 7 of the slots. is 01 just not gonna have like its own sort of like, I feel like the first two waves of 01 are just gonna be straight 01, then most of the line is gonna be like, okay, now we're adding these extra guys, and then the tail end last two will be just 01.
I guess it partly depends on like what 01's version of upgrades is going to be, because Zio, I think, had a lot of fighting to do with the fact that like a lot of the early upgrades were built on this completely separate like body skeleton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if 01's upgrades are going to be a lot like what we've seen from switching to the Hawk form, where it's like just add these colored plates to the Bane body, like it might mean that they could do more of an Exade approach, where it's like you're just getting these little tiny armor sets that go on. Ostensibly, you could just put them on the 01 you already have.
Yeah.
And if you treat it like a gimmick line.
Which
if they end up doing that, I might not do the extra like base body thing that I've been doing.
Same.
I don't know. It really depends on like how much like weight those forms have, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
For me, the pattern I've noticed now in the like 2 years or so I've been weighing at this is like I'm gonna keep my cards in my hand until wave 3 or 4. By then I'll probably know what I want to do depending on what it looks like the show's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. See, I'm impatient, so I gotta pre-order.
Oh yeah. I mean, also the constant presence of Soto on Mandarake and me finding the right kanji to search for has made it a lot more relaxing for me too.
Yeah. Like I have a whole system of tabs open now.
Oh man, I didn't even realize Soto has different kanji every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of that and occasionally Mandarake listings. At one point, like the Exade kanji works for Zio now.
What?
Like I can use the Exade Soto kanji and I get the Zio results.
Oh, okay.
So I think that with the way that searches work on Mandarake's site, you don't have to sometimes be as precise, but I don't know if it might just be confirmation bias on my end.
Meanwhile, with me and my archaic eBay ways, I have to factor in how it gets mistranslated.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe you search Zio as one word, maybe you search Remania, because that's how Zio sometimes gets translated for some reason.
Oh, is that why I've been seeing that?
Yeah. It's just like
I didn't know what that meant.
Weird Google Translate thing.
Yeah.
Or like,
so weird.
Exade will sometimes be Eguzado, because that's how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of foreign affairs when I look up Gaim stuff.
Yep, that's how the
It's
kanji
real
translates.
What? So I was wondering if we have such a high volume of, I guess, not 01 Soto stuff coming into his own line, are we going to keep the boxes and sets around the same size, or are we going to expand?
My thought was it depends on how much 01 is going to be doing with its form changes. To me, it seems like it's not going to be too crazy. So
Yeah.
I would say it depends on what they do month to month.
If they don't have to make an entirely new body that also, from what I caught from the blog, was very expensive to produce in the armor body for Zio and Gates, if they don't have to do that, I could see it being like slightly wider sets. Also, like Zio was where you kind of like Exade to build, they I guess didn't up the budget, but they upped the production ability to have that waist joint on every figure. And then with Zio, I remember that opening blog post, there was that whole like I'm afraid we're gonna have to charge an extra whatever, like 200 yen per figure, but we're going to be able to do all this and have alternate hands. And I wonder, like, clearly Soto, even though none of us have like sales figures I'm aware of that we can just like wave around,
No idea.
clearly it's doing so well that it's getting to improve either minorly Exade to build or majorly build into Zio. What I'm wondering about with 01 is like, are we going to get another just overhaul improvement? And will that result in like more figures per wave? Or like, isn't the thing they ran into with Zio that the reason the armor bodies and then, you know, the Decade armors started to trickle down a bit was also that they cost, like the armor bodies at least, cost so much to produce they had to stop doing that at one point to also produce new figures.
It would make sense.
Oh,
Like
I didn't know.
I think that there's a blog post, one of the blog posts, I swear mentioned that was part of the reason why the armor bodies were getting discontinued, is they had so much paint on them that it was impacting the rest of the wave or something like that.
Wow. See, I just remember them saying, "Hey, this is going to be your last chance. Buy them now."
There's that too, which is, man, what a nice thing to say. Just straight up, like just telling us.
Just let you know.
I mean, like it was nice, but then also I panicked.
Yeah, because you're like, oh wait, everyone who lives in Japan read that just now too.
Yeah.
I got a theory about how they might fit in all this stuff, and I don't think this will happen. But now that there are all these different precedents set, like, what if they just use the Chronicle Sodo label to do some of this catch up?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Like maybe Sodo Chronicle Build Plus or something, and that'll be where you put the Grease movie guys and maybe Aqua. I'm gonna keep bringing up Aqua.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
we appreciate it.
Good.
We want it.
Don't forget. Like, I forgot my point. That's good.
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say, last episode I proposed some theories about what they could probably do for 01, and I'm saying, bring on the light piping from Kaiser.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know how I feel about that being like a mainstay though.
Yeah, I presented it while saying it would also technically mean that the alternate helmet pieces would be painted, so I don't know how anyone feels about that.
I guess with the 01 aesthetic, using translucent plastics at least could be a thing that would work somewhat.
I wouldn't mind it if we tried it for a year.
Because those, I mean, I haven't looked at the costume close enough, I guess, but the yellow parts on the main 01 costume look like they're at least somewhat translucent. Like there's a shine to them. Maybe it's just the gloss, but yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe light piping coming over.
I also proposed the idea of, because the Another writers had those fists that didn't have peg holes on them, they basically said, fans wanted us to make hands like these, so we made them for this wave. And I'm thinking, I wonder if that could become a precedent.
Yeah. That could be another thing.
I'd be down.
I forgot to say, they actually gave a goofy name to those, which was, apparently the fists with peg holes are called the grip hand. This one is called the true grip hand.
Because it's finished gripping. I was also going to say, like, for everything that they talk about, we're not finished on Another Riders yet. And I'm only saying this because they did Another Wave 2. And by doing that, I'm like, okay, if you did one wave of Anothers, I'd see that as a cute addition. But there's 2 waves of them. Now, because of you guys, I have demands starting to grow in my selfish heart.
My big question is just Kuga.
I mean, that's gonna be where they say, and I think this if they ever do it, it's gonna be Premium Bandai, Another Riders. The spearhead pieces will be Kuga and Another ZO2.
Yep, that sounds good.
And maybe like, because I was looking at Another Blade as like another one of the major problem suits, and I'm like, maybe somehow kit bash that on top of the level billion suit.
Oh, the body.
At least the body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
Huh. Yeah, like, it's at that point where I'm like, okay, I know you're doing your best, but I'm fine with Premium Bandai. Don't worry about it. You've done us so well so far.
As long as you don't put troop builders in Premium Bandai, everyone's happy, in my opinion. Like,
100%. But they definitely did put the troop builder of
Kashin.
Kashin in +2. He's only 1 per box.
The per box ratios still make me squint sometimes. You can always guess, and it's completely understandable. Okay, main rider, 2 of them per box, it makes complete sense. That's fine.
3 DNs, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, but then sometimes, especially when it's like a box and not a set, and it's like, hey, it seems across the board there is 1 body and 2 to 3 sets of armor, and I'm kind of like, okay, look. Are you actually just producing more copies of the armor? And if so, why are you doing this to me?
It still doesn't make sense to me.
The Kashin one, you can kind of make an argument for why it's just 1. It's just like,
okay,
yeah, I mean,
present it.
Well, I think I said it to you too, where I was like, technically, the one that we see in an episode is presented as if it's a single character. It's just in the movie, apparently, there's just an army of them. So it's like you can treat it as, this is the specific Kashin from this specific episode.
Yeah. And then,
Also,
you know,
it's probably
because
not a very
movie,
popular design.
It's in the movie, you can also say, like, hey, listen, the movie Riders, they didn't manage to fit into Ride 11, so, you know, obviously, they just didn't know when Ride Plus 2 happened.
Yeah.
So that when they put out Aqua, it'll be a box of 3 Aquas and 1 Kashin, and then you'll be all set.
Army build
Take it.
Aqua, I mean.
Yeah, Army
Yeah,
build
I
Aqua.
will Army build Aqua. Also, we need his time machine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing that
just-
when I saw that model, I was like, like that's the kind of thing I see at the end of a series where I imagine the current Soto boss, you know, pouring sweat, drinking a beer, finally having a minute to themselves, watching the new show. They see that, they just slam their fist on the table.
I made
Like,
a
you
joke
think
about
you can
that.
stop me?
I feel like I made that joke too about something else that happened in a recent episode. I'm trying to think of what it was.
I definitely remember something along those lines. But, yeah, that was it for the news, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it!
Hey,
Guys,
you know what?
it's-
Hey,
Yeah.
Premium Band, or not Premium Bandai, screw you guys. Bandai Candy Team, y'all did it. Gio-san, you did it.
Yeah,
Dio-san, you're doing it over wherever you've gone.
to Shodo.
Yeah.
He's part of Shodo and Chronicle.
He's doing both? Okay.
Yeah.
Man, those are guys I wish there was some feasible way to, like, just sit down and talk to them about, like, because this could not have possibly been the plan when Shodo-X started. And whatever magic they tuned into on Shodo-X, I'm just like, they had to have also been grabbing every single, the moment that a little opening showed of, like, hey, people seem to be into this. It's not like they organically moved into where we're at. They were grabbing opportunities hard, it felt like.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
back when X8 was announced and they announced all the different toy lines for it. It's like, I looked at it like, they're doing an action figure series for Gashapon and Candy Toy? Why? And then one of them disappeared after that year.
The part where the gimmick line is now RKF, and RKF is basically slightly taller candy toy in a box, really says a lot to me too.
Yeah, and like, not only that, and I think I said this last episode, but it's interesting to me that every release that they've done has followed the pattern of Soto almost to a T. Like, their very first releases were only Geo, Build, and X8, which were done already in Soto, and then their first, like, branch out, the next one that they're gonna do is Double. And that was like the first Chronicle set.
Yeah, I feel
So-
like the guys who work in Bandai Candy, I felt like I saw it in Mini Pla as well, when, like, they do a Mini Pla Sentai robot and just aggressively go, like, also, it's posable, and if we can't fit it in, here's extra parts to make it more posable. And like,
And
it feels like they, like, guys working the candy toy line really have something to prove, and I really like it.
At every turn, Soto, like, just astonishes me at, like, they could have just, like, upcharged the box and not done anything else, but they were like, hey, sorry, we're gonna put 200 extra on each of these, but they're gonna turn out really good. And if, like, with the build stuff that they had to release in GO, they were like, yeah, we know that these guys aren't as articulated
No
as the
swappable
GO
hands.
stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna put in extra paint, and we're gonna throw in, like, this sort of brand new stand armature to try out.
Yeah.
And also you could plug in hands into. Like, it's...
And in general, they're just like, hey, we made a new version of Gase's bow because we just wanted to try out a different way to have him hold it.
Yeah.
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 Oh, and then also the, red Gates body that
Mhm.
I decided to wholesale get rid of my regular gray ones and then replace them immediately with the red ones.
Me too.
Oh, good. Yes, good.
Only because
Perfect.
I was able to find a Mandarake listing which let me up the quantity. And there's never anything to indicate that except for trying to push the up button. And so
You're
whenever
just like,
whenever that magic moment happens, I'm like, how many times can I push it? And I found one where I could push it up to 3, and I was like, gonna order this immediately.
You're about to lose your stock.
There's a that's right. There's a certain energy around Soto and just Bandai Candy in general. I think of like these feel like it's like us, but if we were in the toy industry and working in a toy line we care about. Like there's a very like in the blogs, the amount of information they share to me is astonishing. Like even just going off of translations. Thankfully done by the Tokusatsu Network, might I add.
Thank you. I try. And like recently I've basically just been going through multiple months of backlog because I've been kind of lazy about it. I've been like picking up on how transparent they are. Like they keep bringing up this questionnaire, these surveys, and one of the things they brought up is you guys seem to like it when we talk about behind the scenes stuff, so we're doing that a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's great,
fantastic, and I think with Candy specifically, with the Candy Toy teams. I almost wonder, because they're the Candy Toy teams and they're not operating at these really high price points with prestige items, maybe they're just also allowed to say more about the whole process.
That makes sense.
I really hope you keep translating and if possible go into backlogs, because I am utterly curious what the tone of these blogs were like during Exade.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, but it's like extra work.
Once you finish translating the last 2 years of, untranslated blogs while keeping up with the new ones, pretty simple. It'll take you a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
But yeah, it's exciting to me, and I'm really hyped now for 01 because of Soto. Like, nothing against RKF, but I got about 6 RKF figures and kind of felt like these feel like I just wish these were Sotos, so I'm probably just going to stick to Soto now.
Like
nothing against RKF, they're fine. But
the other thing that I really enjoy, especially with the current one who's writing the Soto, the last one was good. He was very good, but this one, he feels like a real fanboy in a way I appreciate. My favorite one from when I was going through the backlog is with the Kikai post. Like I showed you mine wearing those 2 Gigants. He just kind of had him flying around, and he just said, "This kind of reminds me of the scene from the Faiz movie with Saiga where he says, 'After all, you are only human.'" And then says, "This quote seems like it fits the Kikai setting."
And you're like, Chronicle Saiga? We're all fans here, Chronicle Saiga?
They did that Shodo-O poll, and I think Saiga was among the ones in the Shodo lineup.
Either that or Orga, one of the Faiz guys.
I mean, they come hand in hand.
Burgers and fries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't want burgers or fries. Sorry, I asked for both. It's combo.
Yeah.
I get those, and I get I don't know, a goofy looking Kaiser for when what's his name put it on.
And we were talking about the candy toys in general. I feel like the Sentai ones, they surprise me once in a while, but it always feels like they don't get enough attention, or they don't really put themselves out there very much, is the thing.
So to me, like how Soto is the main line, and then you have the side ones like Another and Plus.
Mm-hmm.
On the Sentai side, the main line is the Mini Pla, and then like the side stuff is Yudo.
Yeah. But also, just in general, they don't really... We've commented on before how, they finally did a post for this thing they're releasing on the day that it's released.
Yeah.
But, sometimes
I still do like Yudo.
Yeah.
I feel bad that it doesn't get...
I think Yudo is starting as an incomplete Ghost Ager line with 100 million stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in this place where it felt like it was getting pushed to the side even when it came out.
Mm.
And,
it deserves some respect for technically introducing swappable hands before build.
Yeah,
that's true. Wow.
And
I think also
I didn't even consider that.
Go ahead.
The latest mini plot wave randomly just included swappable hands for the main mecha.
Oh, nice. I haven't kept up with Mini-Plon in a little bit. So that's really good to hear. Because the last time I was really checking in on Mini-Plow was when they were having like those extra articulation pieces with the animal one. The stackable bricks Sentai.
Zyuohger.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I think one other thing for Yudo that really, like, they've come out of it, but I think this is always going to be a little bit of a chain around their ankle, was like when they did those, those 3 Ghost Ager pieces. Is it Ghost Ager? No, not Ghost Ager. Q Ranger.
No.
Q Ranger pieces. And then they showed, like, yeah, we got CADs for the rest of the team. Maybe premium Bandai. And then it never happened.
Oh, man.
Did they say that? Wait, really?
I'm really sure there was a blog post where they showed they at least had like drawn up how to do the rest of the team.
Oh my god, I gotta go back and find that.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but because I remember that I spent a good, like, 6 months just assuming, like, oh, I can't wait to see the premium Bandai Q Rangers, and then it, like, never happened, and I was like, wait, I thought this was gonna be a thing.
Because, like, I feel like that was... They were seeing with Build how well Soda was going, and they were like, we've got some demand, let's try something. Let's just get something ready, and then maybe we'll release one and make improvements on it for the next year. Mm-hmm. And that's how Loopad happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I don't remember the CAD file. I need to dig back and find that.
Like, there's a huge chance I might be wrong, because I haven't thought about this for a good while either. I'd swear that they had shown something, drawings or something, for the rest of Q Ranger.
Because it's weird that they only made the Red Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, it was at the end of its run. So, like, it would be hard to justify making more unless it was premium.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, it's like, you're gonna have to convince, I guess, the premium side of things that, oh yeah, all of this is worth it. Because we sold X amount of Wave 1s of these guys.
There's also this ever-present feeling I always get that, like, even on the toy end, Rider gets to experiment. Even when it fails, it gets to experiment. Whereas Sentai, as a brand, Super Sentai always feels like it has way less room to wiggle around in the toys, in the shows, in anything.
You can't rock the ship.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Sentai ship. It's like all the old men who work on the superhero Taisen movies, who make everything a little bit like this. All feels like the mid-aughts. Like it feels like they have their hand firmly around the throat of the brand of Super Sentai in all facets. That's why I'm always astonished how cool Mini-Pla has been for years, because it's like I think they're fighting a way more of an uphill battle. I say, like, that's me filling in a lot of gaps with my own perception. Like, I have no idea, but
no, I mean, like, it tracks with, like, the way the brand is being handled.
Yeah.
So I guess there's precedent for it.
I was talking about this with some friends the other day, like literally the other day, about how it's just like part of the reason I fell off watching Sentai is that they never get to change anything after the first 3 episodes. It's like you go 3 episodes deep, you kind of know what the plots will be of most of the next few episodes, bullet point wise. Mm-hmm. And it feels like it's done that way in part because it works, quote unquote, but also because this is the one, like, it makes it clear, like, yes, Sentai is for toddlers, but ostensibly Rider is kind of still for children too.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think that it's easy to tell, like, Rider also has a more checkered past as far as its success, but Sentai it always feels like there are these old traditionalists just sitting on top of Super Sentai.
Yeah, like, I always think of this quote from Shirakura, everyone's favorite Kamen Rider guy.
Yeah!
he basically was commenting on the success of Rider and more or less said, I think the reason it does better than Sentai is because it experiments more.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, he
so
said
they're aware.
That the way he puts it is, it tries harder to be different every time.
Awareness, I'm almost sure of, because I can't imagine some of the, in my opinion, like, creative genius is maybe a bit much to say, but, like, there are smart, creative genre luminaries that often get to work on Rider stuff, and I feel like they rarely get to lay hand on Sentai until it's something that's really separated, like, now I forgot all the Space Squad? Yeah, Space Squad. Like, yeah. And that's kind of separated, and Deca Ranger sounds like it also has been wildly popular ever since it came out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I can't imagine that the kind of people who have made some of my favorite Rider stuff would not feel like there's a problem with the lack of flexibility in their sibling series. And I think it's just a shame because like there's every time Sentai gets really close to like really catching me again, it's like I just think it's weird that like the best Super Sentais are often like not all, but several of the most beloved ones are also when the action was also a lot more experimental and like Shaw Brothers-y. And like, yeah, I don't know. I can go on and on about this, and I when I say that, I can go on and on with my half myself invented ideas of what's happening.
I was also just to bring it back to the mini plot stuff. You said you hadn't been keeping up since Zyuohger, basically.
Yeah, I never picked up any of those. The last ones I actually picked up were for some reason I got really reignited when Q Ranger came out, and I went complete on that mini plot line. But I've only built the first mecha. I haven't built the other ones.
I was just about to say, if you're into the look of Q Ranger, that is a nice set.
I love the way that their robots all looked, and so I kept up with them coming out, even though I didn't get to build them all yet. Yeah. Because I put a lot of work into painting up the original Q Reno set. And then I was like, well, I want to put this work into all of them, and then I immediately self-daunted. So they're all still here. I just haven't put them together. But I really liked how they worked.
Yeah.
I will say, and this may or may not like transition us into the topic, but like I remember like getting into Sentai stuff and all that, and then the video you did about the Ghost Ager mini pla and painting it up I think that was one of the I guess most formative Sentai Rider Toku things that I watched getting into the fandom.
Thanks for watching it.
Yeah, no, it was great. That one and and everything you did with Candy's toy stuff is basically what got me here.
Like I feel really bad about the way I painted that thing because I was using a lot of enamels and Gundam markers without knowing what they do, and like I overused. It was a blue Gundam marker I used on the shark, and that shark had actually fractured apart at a few points where the enamel of that paint like
I remember
squeezed it, and I never really figured out what happened there. But now I got back into mini painting, and so now I'm all into those acrylics, and I'm actually really freaked out by Gundam markers a little bit because I'm like, the one thing about them, I was never able to like, you can't get rid of the streak marks with those things, and you have to have a bottle of paint thinner, or if you use a brush, it's going to eat your brush. And so I really want to get back to some of my unbuilt mini pla using all my like mini war painting stuff. And now that I also know a lot more about top coats, like I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had with all of that.
So my like what sort of got me out of painting things, because like I collected Gundam and stuff, so I used Gundam markers a lot, and like I had that Ghost Ager video to like sort of guide me on how to use it too, and what got me out of it was that like the paint would always rub off eventually, because I'd play with it like a toy.
Yeah.
And I'd do that for some of my Transformers too, and then the paint would rub off on that. Have you found a coat that would bring a toy that you had painted up to at least almost the standard of like playability for a toy?
So I think in my like I'll say right up front, like my experience is still quite limited, but there's a lot of top coats, and Tamiya does a bunch of them, and like Mr. Top Coat, like Mr. Hobby stuff, that I think totally work for most of the surface of a toy. The one thing that I think you just can't do anything about is paint rubbing off inside of a hinge. And there's a customizer. Yeah, there's a customizer I really like. I'm gonna give him a shout out, Grim Lockamus, Chrome Tyranno on Twitter. Yeah. And like he told me straight up, I talked to him a bunch this past TFCon, partly because I was buying that Omega Supreme that he made. And he basically said that, like, 'cause I always ask him, because his paint, I have 3 or 4 of his customs now. He has some of the most durably painted customs I've ever seen. Like, they are playable, in my opinion. Wow. With the caveat that, like, the paint will rub off in the joints. And he showed me that, like, he basically said that because of that, he just doesn't think about it anymore. He tries to just not care, and he just shows it to people before they buy them. Like, on the Omega Supreme I got, he's like, just so you know... And, like, that's a really nice guy. He wanted me to see it in person before actually committing to buying it. So he's like, yeah, like, here in the elbow, for instance, like, there is paint rub inside the elbow joint. Especially with a figure this size with those massive ratchet joints. Like, there's just nothing to be done about it. And I was like, no, I get it. Like, and the main thrush of it is seeing all those nice colors on the big open surfaces. So I'd say for toys, like, just get some Tamiya top coats. Like, there's Krylon top coats as well, but I think for a bit of the the toy snob, the Gundam snob thing, I'm like, a nice Mr. Top Coat semi-gloss would be a place to start. From what I understand, gloss top coats are the most durable. So, like, I saw a Gundam tutorial, several of them, where they're like, do a gloss top coat, then do a matte top coat. So you seal it in with the gloss, and then make it look nicer with the matte top coat. So that's one idea. I tried a top coat on some spare build Sodos way back after I'd put the stickers on to see what would happen, and it worked fine. I just I never had problems with the stickers scratching off, so I didn't want to go through all the work of spraying all of them.
Right.
But that's also an option that I think worked out fine. I know Japanime on YouTube back during Build Sodo when he was getting into it was also trying out, him and Shuki were both trying things out with Mod Podge and stuff. And then when I looked into it, Mod Podge was basically like a kind of paint on brush on top coat. So by the time you're using that, and with some of the difficulties that came with that, it was kind of like maybe just get like a spray on top coat. So I would say like there's a lot of Gundam tutorials about top coating are with the idea that you mess with the Gundam afterwards. There was some good info in there. I would always say go with the caveat, and I'm like a ridiculous visual perfectionist with anything I make, which is a problem when it comes to toy customizing. So it's like try to train yourself to be okay that the paint's gonna rub off in the joints. Or on like a Sodo figure, like if you get something with those ridiculous Exade bicep stickers, there's gonna be an ugly part, and so just try to make the ugly part not be in the front, you know?
Yeah.
When it comes to me in painting, I avoid the joints at all costs.
Yeah.
And I like how we each have varying levels of paint here, where you have moved on to something better, which was miniatures. Corey
gave up.
And then
wholesale gave up.
I'm worse because I still use Gundam markers, and I know I'm a fool.
I'll say it. Gundam markers are not bad inherently. It's just like there's qualities to them that I always would fight against.
Yeah.
Some of them I love, like metallic ones are great, but it's specifically like red and yellow. You have to base coat those with white most of the time, and then so that's where I would run into the wall. I try base coating with a Gundam marker. And then going over that with a slightly corrosive Gundam marker in like the red, and then sometimes it starts eating through the white undercoat, and I'm just like, what's happening?
Yep.
And then there's like
now it's pink.
Yeah, and then there's these streaks everywhere as well, and I'm just like, I hate this.
I don't know.
Did you ever use the yellow one? Because that one, like, every single one I bought got so chunky and never worked. Yellow just never.
In my experience, the red, blue, yellows all kind of act weird.
Yeah, the blue ones often, for some reason, worked okay for me, except they then had those weird things of, like, you know, crushing a hinge or something on that Gosei shark head.
Yeah, like, I always have trouble with those colors. Somehow, miraculously, I didn't have trouble with red or yellow when I was painting all of my Gates figures.
That's baffling to me. Like yellow,
because like I even went out of my way to paint the like little armor bits on the fingers.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the red sometimes, if the pigment was just right, it would just collect in the right spot. I remember. Yeah. And like, because I often when I was painting my mini plas stuff, I would always start. You know, the couple times I'd done it, I'd start with the Red Ranger vehicle, and so it'd be like, here we go. All right, red. I forgot how fun this was. And, you know, go through that nonsense. And sometimes it would work, but then, like, whenever it wouldn't work, it would be, like, streak central. And I would try to convince myself, like, well, that's the part I'm going to go over with gold later.
Just a shameless plug there, goofy little comic thing I did with my figures so you can see the hands.
Oh, yes. That's very well done. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Like maybe it was just because it's small dimensions and small segments. There's not enough space for it to spread out.
Oh yeah, that's probably.
that makes sense.
But
painting it like it's fun. Like, and I've said before, like the reason I don't do any of it on Sodo is because for some reason it's the specific aesthetic of Sodo's size, their sculpts, and the way their stickers work. Like it formed into this thing where to me that's the identity of Sodo.
Yeah, like the stickers do feel like an inherent part of Soto.
And ever since they got better in build, like,
Yeah.
I always feel, I was thinking about it today, if I'm maybe misremembering, I always feel like it was this overnight change in build wave 5, where they suddenly had this vinyl quality to them, where they would actually stretch and adhere rather than start to peel off after a day.
I mean, like, I didn't notice, like, a specific wave, but I just remember the first wave, most of the leg stickers ended up, like, disappearing into the carpet.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, the rest of my figures, I just never noticed the problem.
It was a wave that had also a part where there was a lot of sculpted detail, and it was just this moment where I was like, this sticker is just sucking into the sculpted detail and fitting perfectly. And I was like, and I was all ready with a toothpick and everything going like, oh, it's time for this to happen again. And then it went great. And granted, I barreled through the entirety of Shodo-X basically right before Shodo build. So, like, Shodo-X's experience was also so fresh in my mind that whenever this change happened, it was night and day, and Zio got even better.
I was about to say, I remember when I, at one point, I pre-ordered, or I just properly ordered the first wave of Zio. It was my first Soto, and then right after I put the order, I listened to a podcast where you talked about that, and I was just like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, like, have either of you ever messed with, like, the original X-Aid Soto waves?
Not me.
Yeah, like, not the specific wave, but I have some of those figures.
Okay, because
I don't think I've lost the stickers because they are still within the box that has the X-Aid stuff, but they are just at the bottom.
So X-Aid, you know how X-Aid has some specific designs, right?
Yeah.
That are on all the suits. Those were also the worst stickers. So the thin strip around the bicep, for instance. Also, the stickers, because they had no wrist joints, there was a single combined sticker for the forearm plate,
oh my God,
the entire wristband, and the knuckle plate as one unified sticker.
Oh.
And if you didn't put it on perfectly, there would be this, like, domino effect of all the stuff falling out of alignment. And then it was also super thin at parts. It was very easy to just rip the knuckle off, for instance, and just put it on separately. That was the silver lining. But they also, like, the X-Aid stickers had a very... they feel more like paper than the Zio stickers. And it's right down to the finish. Like, they're not as nice.
So, I don't mean to, like, rain on your parade with this information, but I don't know if you remember, there was a Soto blog post where they were like, hey, we're doing another one, and we're gonna change up the sticker formula, so definitely fill out the survey. So I got another one, and it feels like we've gone backwards.
Ooh.
Yeah. The wrist thing, like, they don't have, like, the combined forearm, wrist, and then knuckle, but the thing that goes around the wrist for, like, most of them,
Yeah.
they don't grab onto each other. So, like, those are starting to lift kind of like the X-Aid ones.
I had that with Quiz. His bicep stickers and his
Really?
forearm stickers on the first quiz I did anyway. Like, it's like they stay stuck, so the glue works, but something about their fit and finish just felt so much like X-Aid's stickers. Like, it was not matching up super well with any of the sculpted detail it clearly was supposed to. It was also very fragile. Like, it wasn't even the bicep sticker that broke on me. It was one of the forearm stickers shredded. And, like, I just ganked it up with glue and put it back together and stuck it back in there. But on Quiz, like, the legs were fine and the torso stickers were great. Same for the helmet stickers, but then, like, something about the arms, and it doesn't help that those also were X-Aid detailings, but all the stickers that matched X-Aid arm detailings felt like crappy old X-Aid Soto arm stickers, and I was like, this can't have been intentional, but this feels like a really bad version of nostalgia.
Well, I guess I'm lucky that I haven't had that experience.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I just, something went wrong. Like I said, I have another copy of Quiz, and I'm going to do that one too. And then I'm going to take all the best parts and keep them, and then make a crappy Quiz and sell them for like $2 at a toy show or something.
My only pre-Zio experience is It's weird how I got this. So Toku Collectibles did this Kamen Rider blind box.
Yeah.
And one of the things I got was the robot half of Build's Phoenix Robo form, and just the one half. It's like, well, at least I've got the rabbit dragon I can put this on.
You know what? That would be a good way to sell. No, that's dirty. Never mind. No, that's a horrible way. I wouldn't do that.
I'll also say that I just recently got the Phoenix half, or just ordered it.
Oh, cool.
I was about to say,
I think that
the top coat experiment I did on Build was a Phoenix something mixture. It's like Phoenix and one of the blue hued halves.
Oh.
And those were just leftovers from a box I'd gotten.
Yeah, see, like, that's my struggle. I don't know if I should go dig into my stuff to, like, try to use it, or should I, like, keep it and wait for, like, a time where I'm like, okay, time to get rid of these, like, sell them.
I would always say with toy sales, like, make it based on what is going to suit your comfort levels. Like, if you're having crowding problems or if you're short on cash, then, like, that's when to do it. Like, don't worry too much about, like, the timing of doing it, because it's, like, toys that are timed well to sell are so few and far between. Like, you need an obscene amount of information to be able to make the predictions.
That's fair, yeah. Oh, also, the panels that you do for Why We Collect, I love those.
Oh, thank you! I really like doing those.
Yeah. Like, I haven't actually attended one, but I watched the live streams, and there's some of my favorite ones to, like, tune into, and talking about, like, I don't know, just honing in on why you liked something, and kind of using that to manage your collection was really good and useful information.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best things that any collector of any age or years of collecting experience can go through as soon as they can, because it's so easy. And I still do it, where it's like, I'll just get caught up in a wave, like, I want to get these new things too, and, like, like, I always put it as, it's just being able to recognize that you not wanting to own a thing doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think is huge, because one of the best ways to talk yourself into keeping stuff is like, oh, but it's such a good figure. And it's like, that doesn't have to be not true. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad figure for you to then want to sell it. And I think that is a stigma that has taken a grip in some way of socially of a lot of toy collectors, because just look, whenever someone puts up a big sales post who have, like, a fairly decent sized audience, there's always someone who goes like, oh, what's wrong with it? And, like, they don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that's the training that's kind of set into their head, like, just as a toy collector. Like I see it happen to Pia all the time, because he's really good at purging, like, just going like, I just want to sell all this stuff. And then there's always a couple comments where just like, oh, is there something wrong with it? Or, oh, I thought that was a good figure. And I don't know about his experience. My own experience, it really sucks hearing that when you're trying to sell stuff, when it's already a bit of work to convince yourself that these are things you want to sell, and then someone's like, what's wrong with it? And then you start wanting to defend it, and then that means you start going like, oh, well, now, oh, crap. Like, it took me so much time to want to sell this, and now I'm having to, like, stick up for it, but also want to keep selling it, and anyway, yeah.
Now I'm in a weird Stockholm Syndrome relationship.
Yeah, or it makes you question yourself. You're like, well, is it good? And like, am I selling something bad? And then I start eyeballing the people who ask it, going like, are you just trying to get a deal? And
are you negging me?
Yeah,
are you negging my toy?
Is this
are you just trying to browbeat me? Are you trying to, like, bump me down? Are you gonna then tell me that maybe? Because then I'm always like, are you gonna follow this up with like, even though it's crap, I'll buy it off you just for, like, I don't know, $50 off. Like, are you like trying to neg me down so then you can, like, be the one who brings me up to, like, take money out of my wallet and throw me down a staircase? Like, that's maybe pushing it a bit far. But I actually have another one of those. I didn't do one of those this TFCon, but I did a different panel, which I have all the footage for. I'm going to cut together hopefully soon, which was the rules of healthy collecting, which was a semi-humorous panel. But
I think you almost live streamed part of that. I tuned in, and then, like, some of it wasn't there or something.
So I always take for granted that my live streams work if they work for the first minute, and then after TFCon, I discovered that all of those live streams, the Friday podcast one kind of works, but the live streams I did of any other panel were not only, like, were parts missing, like, one of them was like 5 minutes long in the archive, and it was just like random seconds. So what I should, like, I'm just sort of pirating my way. I somehow got a pass for a Wi-Fi that I'm not sure I'm supposed to have in that venue, and so usually it just works. But in this year, it just wasn't working, and that's what I've had people say, like, "Oh, why'd you take them down?" And it's like, because I went and looked, and someone told me, like, someone was punching me on the shoulder, going like, "Why'd you put up that crap?" And I'm like, "What crap?" And they're like, "There's a panel recording. It's nonsensical. Like, it jumps ahead every few seconds." So I took a look, and I was like, "Well, this sucks," because I also use those for backups. So yeah, I have nice copies of the panels I was on for TFCon. So
fantastic!
Should be another one. Healthy collecting. Look for it. I can't remember if there's any Soto content, but I'm sure you can apply it to Soto. There, I'm still on topic.
Yeah.
Nice. Speaking of,
yeah, Soto.
How'd you get into it? How'd you fall down this nice rabbit hole?
So,
or candy toy in general.
Yeah, candy toy for me was Mini-Pla. That was kind of candy toys for me for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed Mini-Pla like real religiously, and I just stuck with it from not Ghost Sager, the one before Ghost Sager. I forgot their name. Shinkenger.
Yeah. Yes.
I had been buying all the Shinkenger Mini-Pla because I found out how cool it was, and through that I was then buying like some of the Geki Ranger ones and like one of the Deca Ranger ones, and just way into it. And then it was around Go Buster when I realized I was buying them and not building them. So I held off for a bit. And then so that was kind of like a time with candy toys. Like, I'd seen other candy toys. There's also like candy toy figures I'd pick up now and then that were just kind of neat, or like those decade ones that were like riders that would turn into stuff, and they had a candy toy.
That's
wave
another
of those.
one. Yeah, that's another one I remember watching and like being in awe of, like just Tokyo stuff in general. So,
yeah. I got into the rider stuff because I saw your Motion Revive, and I was just like, these are a bunch of cool dudes.
Yes!
Oh, I forgot. Motion Revive is actually, those were my first candy toys because I was in Japan for 90 days back in late 07, early 08, and I saw those might have even been in Mandarake. I'd been seeing them all over the place, not really thinking about them because Fig Arts had just come out this was before Fig Arts came out. This is when I was focused on Sochok Henshin, and I picked up a couple Motion Revives. I picked up a box of the new set because it was cheap at a store, and I was like, wait, these are great, and I spent most of my final 2 or 3 weeks in Japan buying all of Motion Revive up to whatever was current. And so Motion Revive was kind of my first real big candy toy thing, and then Motion Revive ended, and that was where it was the fact that it ended right after a wave where the chase figure wasn't Garen, it was Garen with a broken helmet. There was no unbroken helmet version, and I was so jaded after that on candy toys because I was like Bandai will just kill any line, they don't care. And then so with Soto, what happened is 2016. Without getting into details, 2015 rough thing happened. So 2016 I was on like mental adrenaline for the whole year, with a whole lot of just like I was on brain adrenaline, doing improv classes, having fun, spending money really poorly. And one thing I did was I suddenly near the end of 2016 was like, it was a combination of I was like, Exade was so good, I should get all the Gashats, and that was second. Soto was first. Soto was I forgot how I got into it.
I kind of remember how it happened. Weirdly enough,
I know I talked about it because it was a wave I picked up that led me to backtrack the rest of them. Is what I remember.
I seem to recall you were, unless I'm getting this wrong, I seem to recall you bought the Televi-kun box to get the Gasha, and you're like, and it comes with a figure or whatever.
Oh, no. So I feel like, this is how I remember it, is I feel like it went the other way around. Where I'd gotten that box partly because it had a Soto figure in it. And then that box made me get the Gashats. I remember that box made me get the Gashats, because that was the first time I handled a Gashat, and I was like, oh, these are really cool. And I was like, this is going to become a thing. Because it was January 2017 when I then overspent getting all the Gashats using a middleman service and Yahoo Japan auctions.
All I remember...
You remember this specific month and year.
Yes, because I did it all in a month. That's how bad this was. This was a...
Oh my god.
I just remember you posted that video, and then I happened to look at Instagram, and you got this Soto figure, and this one, and
so
it just kind of kept coming.
I got all of Exade Soto up until, like, because I think I was into it, and I got the last, like, 2 or 3 waves properly. but most of the rest of Exade Solo I bought through middlemen and off Mandarake, and I posted twice these photos when I would get from the middleman service. They would let you build it up and just like they sort of pile a loot it, and I'd get this giant box with like 5 waves of Soto in it. And so I'd make a wall out of the boxes and like just take a photo. I have some footage of it somewhere which would confirm to me like the ways that I bought these. But
Confirm
Exade
your
Soto,
sickness.
that's right. I'd already been into Shodo, I should say, as well, because it was basically Motion Revive but better.
Yes.
So I was already into Shodo, and then I messed with Soto, and I was like, oh, these actually are... Because I'd avoided Soto that entire year because there were no waist joints, and I was like, just make some crap. And then I got one or two, and I was like, oh, but they sculpted the body to look good and as though it has a waist joint when you twist the hips. And so that happened, and then when Build started, I was like, all right, I'm going to try out Build. And then Build was this colossal step up, and then Build as a show got so good, I was like, well, I'm sticking with Build. And then with Zio, it was just seeing the blog post of the improvements they were doing that made me lock in on Zio, when I was like, so everyone has a waist joint and swappable hands now. You've now made this line on par with G.I. Joe. Like, it is literally on par with G.I. Joe now. And I think part of the reason I could appreciate that was because I had just spent like so much time with the Exade figures that had no wrists or waists, and you had to go to Dai Soto to get a waist joint. And then I bought Dai Soto in triplicate so I could then have extra bodies to put into all the armors after I filmed them, which I still haven't.
Oh my god.
I just have this stack of Dai Soto Exade that one day will be... I have a whole plan for videos for Soto that's now 3 years behind ever happening, but I'm still going to do it.
Oh, please.
You have enough that you could make a weekly series out of it if you were crazy enough.
Basically, yeah. and I also... Like I used to film putting one of every unique sticker on the figures too, so I have hours of borderline useless footage of me putting a sticker. Because do you know what's harder to do than putting stickers on Soto toys is filming yourself putting stickers on Soto toys. So I'm gonna make use of that footage in some way, but I stopped doing that about halfway through Build.
Oh man!
Because also it was making it work to mess with the toys at all. I was trying to film like what comes out of the box when you open it, because at the time Soto was so foreign to, it seemed, to a lot of people. I was like, I gotta document this entire process. I was even trying to like scan the Exade sticker sheets for a little while to have like digital copies.
Wait, how many do you actually have?
Like scanned?
Yeah,
only a couple waves, I think.
Okay, because the other person on this podcast, Josh, the ones he got, he was like, I know I'm not gonna do well on this one, or maybe these stickers aren't gonna do well, so I am gonna scan this for the future.
So I scanned wave 1 and wave 2. I just found them. I scanned wave 1 and wave 2, and then I scanned a copy missing some stickers of the stickers for the level 100 or level max. Specifically because his Gamer Driver logo sticker was bigger, and so I was like, I should save a copy of that and then downsize it and print copies of those to put on the smaller Gamer Drivers. And then I never did that. But I have this 104 megabyte TIFF file of stage 1 and stage 2 scanned at like 1:1. And then it was so much work to do that scan that I didn't do it ever again.
Man, that actually must be what toy customizers do. I didn't even think of that. It's so simple.
Oh shoot, you're right.
Yeah, like one of the toy customers.
That's how they get the templates.
Yeah, one of the toy customizers I follow on Twitter is just like a Japanese-based one. He is just, or she, I don't know, is basically just doing decade armors for the rest of the riders.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, it's you don't even need to necessarily scan literally Soto stickers. It's just if you can get a hold of any of those patterns and then apply them to a template.
Yeah.
I was about to drag this image into the chat, but this is 105 megabytes, and I think Discord might fall over if I do that.
Yeah.
The entirety of Discord.
Oh man, if you can like scan stickers, I think the ones you should scan are the Kai Soto set for Zio.
I could do that because I haven't opened it yet, and I think I might. Because you're right. There's like 500 stickers in there of just watches.
Yeah.
And also, you could just like...
That's smart.
You could just make a bunch of copies of the ones that go on the belts, so you can add them to all your existing figures.
I did have a period where I was trying to figure out how to make copies of the from Exade, the troop builder from Exade, the brown riders, civilian riders.
Ride players.
The ride players.
Yeah.
By the way, I also have, I think, like at least 12 ride players, because they are usually dirt cheap on Mandarake, so I used to just throw them in orders.
I might get in on that action, too.
They are super easy to get. The problem is their weapons are packed in with the Genmu X 3-box set. Which is not as hard to find now, but...
You know what? I'm confident enough to say that I might be able to shapeways that.
So I tried to I got this mold making material to try to make a physical mold of them and then make replicas with Milliput. And it was going real well until I tried making a replica with Milliput, and I gave up.
Ooh.
It's actually really hard to make a mold of a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The bummer is because those weapons, one of them also is a weapon that you would use with a different sticker, because those stickers would come with the guys for the ninja players.
Yeah.
The mooks from the movie.
Yeah.
So I was trying to I'll dupe up their weapons to put their stickers on, because those are different pattern stickers than the ride player stickers on the weapons. But yeah, basically I stuck with Soto, and it has now almost even replaced Fig Arts for me. I don't really pre-order Fig Arts anymore. I still like them, but between Fig Arts, something Soto did, which I think is one of the roots of its success, is they finish what they start. Even if they don't do every suit, and they do, they don't have frustrating incompletions. Whereas Fig Arts, classically, sometimes it's like they're probably never gonna do insert suit. Ghost Infinity, for instance, they're probably never gonna make him.
Someone on the Tokusatsu Network left a comment that just made me realize they haven't done Hibiki's final form yet.
And I don't think they will.
Oh.
No one remembers it. That's why.
Kiva got in before that.
Yeah.
You know what? Shodo did it, right? The red one?
Oh, no. This is the armored one when he got the microphone knife.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But so Fig Arts, there's sometimes weird incompletions, and also part of the reason for that is Fig Arts, I feel like they've rejigged what Fig Arts are for riders specifically to be boutique pieces rather than we're gonna do the whole line. It's like we're gonna just do the figures that we feel we have to do and do them well, and
they really just treated us with Forza, where they were like, we're just gonna do all 40 modules.
And I think part of the reason why they dialed back is, for example, how many copies of gold and red Forza forms were there sitting in clearance bins for years.
Yeah, that was always a thing that came up in fandom that I've always just kind of believed when it comes to earlier figure arts, where they say premium Bandai figure arts exist now because the Imagine shell formed.
In a way, I can see that. Yeah, I think Forza's alternate forms, Cosmic, hugely, were a part of that too.
But I was also going to say Forza was very kind to us for giving us all 40 modules, but I feel like before that, O's was kind of where maybe they decided maybe we can't make every single form.
O's was I actually like the Fig Arts O's line for some of its failings, where it's like, not only is it every form, everyone comes with the same set of accessories as well. It was I think the second time they were doing a Fig Arts line in line with the TV series.
Yeah, and it definitely felt like at some point they just realized, hold on, how many combos are there?
And do people actually want to own all of these in a mass-produced level?
Do you really want Taka Gorita?
Yeah, and if we do a premium Bandai version, is there anything we can do to sweeten this up? And it turns out, what was it? They put in some of the Candroids as add-ons for the premium Bandais, and it turns out that didn't attract people.
So I think they've learned from that with the new O's, because they just revealed right out of the way swappable parts.
Yeah, and I think it's good news, because it means that they've left the road open now. They might not do every O's form still, but whatever they do, they've made it modular, and then maybe they will just release parts of other ones if it comes down to it. I doubt that's the case, but it also means that I feel more confident about weird forms or other metals or something like that.
And I I know that Figure Arts has done this sort of things before, but it seems like recently there's been a pattern of, we're going to put out this Ultraman X figure, and it can also do this form change gimmick. We're doing this O's, and it does the form change gimmick. Gauge Revive has both forms.
Yeah.
It's like, they're being smarter.
Yeah, and in general, just Fig Arts is like, if you love a character and they have a Fig Arts, like track it down. But Shodo, like I said, they're on par with G.I. Joes. I think they're better than G.I. Joes now, as far as their ability to emote. A lot of their
they're
joints,
they're also active.
That too. They're not a dead franchise. That definitely helps. But like, you know what? If you're still into Joe, you got to be okay with this by now. Like, come on. But
you know, I like the way I think on Twitter at some point you were talking about the new 4-inch Fortnite figures and saying like this is the new, basically like the new G.I. Joe, sorta.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was like a neat sort of spin on like the Fortnite figures, because like I could not tell why I liked them. Actually, I could, because like all the articulation and paint, but like the variety and the amount of like stuff you're getting, it reminds me of some of the G.I. Joe stuff I have.
Oh yeah,
so.
like not to tangent it too hard, but I think that's the draw of Fortnite just as a brand and as a toy brand specifically is all those skins are cartoon characters, and they are everything that I think people loved about G.I. Joe that was not the nostalgia for G.I. Joe. Like, you got robots, you got ninjas, you got Army Man, you've got spooky Odin thing, you've got, like, you know, etc. And then you've also, with McFarlane, you've also got a single vehicle that just came out that they can all ride, like an ATV with a funny looking shovel on the front. Like, it's to me, it's very 80s G.I. Joe. But, like, Shodo is just, it's everything I want out of a rider line. It's G.I. Joe, but better. The stickers are no longer terrifying 99% of the time. And in fact, they're pretty good 99% of the time. And if I want to collect Fig Arts, like, Fig Arts now come out in such a weird kind of small run form. It's like I am actually not having, outside of a few cases, it doesn't hurt to miss a pre-order on Fig Arts and track it down later. I say this in the wake of one of the worst Fig Arts spikes in recent history on main riders, but it's already starting to come down. Like, a whole bunch of Shinkocho wizards have hit Mandarake in the last week, and that's the one that I thought was going to become a grail for me to chase. It's not cheap. They're still 9,000 to 10,000 yen, but that's better than 15,000 yen. And so I don't know. It's just, Shodo, I think, just hits so many cylinders, and the sticker thing, the one thing that spooks people off of it, is such a non-issue now for the most part. Like, the Zeo stickers are a joy. 0-1, just look at the design. What do you think the stickers are going to be? Probably the colorful parts. How many are there? Not that many. Like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like with Shodo, really the only maybe two things it could do for me are like maybe a second sticker sheet to give us like a second chance.
Yeah.
And then 2, give us candy again. I don't want this gum stuff.
That's not on Shodo. That's on whatever monster at Bandai put the Shodo Ultraman gum into everything. That gum was with the Shodo Ultraman line.
You know what I realized?
Wait, so it sounds like you know more about the Ultraman stuff than I do. What happened between Shodo, Chodo, and now the new name that it goes under?
Isn't
that
about? Still Chodo? Isn't that, or no?
Oh,
is it?
I thought it was like action movement something, or like ultra.
I think you might have gotten a Google translation there.
Yeah,
that's true. I
just checked it. It's still Chodo because they got a volume 5.
Oh, okay.
I actually fell behind on Chodo pre-orders finally because I was kind of getting them on autopilot, and I don't really watch Ultraman much. But Chodo, when they moved to Chodo, what they did is I feel like they'd already been having this pattern of having kind of an add-on set per wave now and then, and Chodo feels like it's sort of like the difference between Shodo and shodo-x, where it's like shodo-x and Shodo, they're very similar. Shodo-x just added, I mean, aside from adding, it added the Fig Arts hip thing, right? Like the little wiggly bit.
Yeah.
But to me, the big thing about Shodo-x is adding those basically model kits to every wave of some kind, like be they the bikes, or usually it's the bikes. Like, those bikes are basically little like Plamo kits.
Yeah.
And so what Shodo Ultraman did is and maybe I'm misrepresenting it a bit. I feel like they leaned a bit harder into having like, you know, maybe 3 figures and just boutiquing them up with stuff, and then having very comprehensive add-on accessories in 1 or 2 of the boxes. So like with shodo-x, it's basically a lot more oriented towards you buying a box rather than like buying one at a time. In general, like Shodo Ultraman, I always call it the friendlier line. Like you would get everything in a box of Shodo Ultraman.
Yeah.
And the only real physical downside to them is they didn't have a dedicated thigh swivel, but and that was partly to preserve the look of the Ultraman suits. But there was a surprising amount of freedom on the hip ball socket joint that basically gave you about 20 to 40 degrees of thigh swivel, but on the ball socket joint. I really like those figures. I would highly recommend Shodo Ultraman. If you can track it down, the premium Bandai set with all the capes is pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing on Twitter you were ranting and raving about that one.
Yeah.
Small aside about Ultraman, I don't have much experience with it either. I've watched a few episodes of Ultraman Orb. Because of that, I got this figure from one of their recent lines. It's like a 5 or 6 inch figure line. It's basically like Sochok Henshin articulation, weirdly enough. It's called it's hard to search because it's got a generic name like the Ultra Action series.
Yeah.
But
but
it's got those hands. It's got those Sochok Henshin hands.
Yeah. Those weird crab hands.
Yeah.
To shamelessly plug another person on this channel, different Chris Long of Long's Toys. He has reviews of those up on his channel, like pretty much all of them. So go ahead and check that out.
Nice.
I guess.
I was also gonna say one thing I like about Sodo is that it's like I said, Motion Revive is a thing that got me into the fandom. It's something I had a few figures of. The one downside to that plastic is that over time, some parts might break, like the knee joints. We've made that joke just about every time they come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely what you'd call an old candy toy kind of plastic. Like another one of Shodo's big draws to me is that it is like just like dense ABS. Like,
yeah,
it's real toys plastic. And I was gonna say, like, something that I think deserves a shout out if we're just sort of talking about like Rider Candy toys, the Gaim line, whatever it was called, the Gaim Candy action figure line. It's a different scale, different aesthetic.
Gaim Action Arms. I bought some recently. Yeah,
that line.
Arms
action. I would call that the spiritual precursor to Sodo, because that line tried to also do every suit, and that line specifically did the Ichigo armor.
Yeah.
Like the Kamen Rider 1 armor.
I mean, I feel like even before Gaim, they were getting pretty complete. Like, you had the Decade line.
Yeah.
And then I recently bought the double one. Like, it was somewhere on Yahoo Japan auctions for like pretty cheap, and it came with the bikes and stuff. They aren't comparable size, but like those didn't get quite complete. But once it went to O's, they did almost everything. Even what was it? Tamashi, yeah. Yeah, and then same with Forze. That did just about everything. Don't quote me on that, but like I have almost all of those, and like they were like dead solid, and they actually had like ball jointed wrists and like screws in them.
Yeah.
Like so I feel like the candy toy line is like, at first it went from like, oh, we're just gonna do the gimmick line but cheaper. But now that the gimmick line has sort of, I feel like it's sort of usurped the place of the previous spot that Figuarts were. Because like those used to be like average around like $20-ish.
Yeah.
And now they're at that point.
Yeah, like Figuarts, I think what they discovered is people really like Figuarts when they're on par with the Shinkocho Seihos. Which I think that like going back to Gaim, that's where they Drive and Gaim, I think, were where they really hit it with like the figures coming out the same year are going to be Shinkocho tier. And I believe they are, like, from that point onwards. And so, like, Fig Arts figured out a way to justify its position as the high-end line and become a bit more expensive. And then, yeah, like the gimmick figures, I think it was Soto Build slaughtering the Build gimmick line that, like, really put the nail in that, because, like, Zeo, right? There was no gimmick line, it was just gimmicked RKF figures.
Yeah,
and it's so weird how some things don't get made into toys. Like, when you look at I always bring this back up, when Wizard armor debuted, that armor in CGI looked like it was made to be a toy, and then no toy existed.
Yeah, well, and I think it's just there's stranger, or not stranger, there are more business thought mentalities operating on those gimmick line levels that go like, we can't do every form, the initial push these first bunch, and then we're gonna just stop it here. How many episodes is
like one of them just goes, how many episodes is Cross the End? Let's skip them.
Yeah. and then yeah, with Soto's mission statement, and apparently the success they're having doing it is just that is hitting all the marks. It makes me very happy, and I'm very embarrassed that I have never filmed them. I've been meaning. I have filmed everything I need to, other than the figures, but. And I self-daunted a bit once Build ended and I still hadn't started anything, but I just gotta talk myself into, like, how do I make a video about a wave of shodo-x be approximately 4 to 5 minutes long? Which I don't think would remove any of the quality from it. It's just like, how do I pare it down so it's something I can fire off while covering whatever the new waves are and still do my historian bit.
I also wouldn't mind a Patreon exclusive director's cut.
Yeah.
Of that thing.
On Patreon, I'll just put up I'll put up all the raw footage of me just putting stickers on and cussing, like breathing heavily.
You could just make it a Fiverr situation where you're like, here's all the footage, edit together video if you want.
Yeah. Like, I took footage, borderline. It didn't end up having to do this, but I bought a spare just in case. Like, I've tried to film putting the sticker on for Rider Nico's baseball cap, and that is probably the single worst sticker they have ever produced for Soto.
So since you did buy the extra, did you end up opening it to use the second chest sticker?
What was the second chest sticker?
It was like more buttons or something.
Oh, I think that was the plan. I don't think I have yet actually used it, because my first Nico went okay. I have this. I'm just looking at it on top of one of my bookshelves near me. I have this colossal stack of where I was putting the quote unquote 1 or 2 Sotos dupes that I want to keep and use. And there's some up there that I didn't realize I had that I probably should have sold when I sold that big lot of Soto Build, actually. Because I bought a second Rogue and a second Grease to paint up and make look nice. But now the Build final set came out, there's no reason to do that anymore.
Yeah. Man, that Build final set, though, that was, like, weirdly incredible. Like, there were just so many pie-in-the-sky items in there. Like, I never thought we'd get wings. I'd never thought we'd get, like, separate belts.
Yeah.
For specific situations. That was a really good set.
That's the set that told me, like, Soto isn't going to go anywhere for a bit, because clearly something's going right. If they're getting steel toolings done for these pieces, then someone's happy enough with them to give them, like, the company card. Yeah, like,
End of X8 was just them cracking their knuckles, End of Build was cracking their other knuckles.
Yeah. End of X8 is like, we're going to do two logical retools. End of Build was like, parts! Here, just have all of it. Here's a spare driver if you want to represent, like, a scene from an episode. Like,
you can engage in your the word they use that Google translates this way is you can engage in your delusions.
Yes.
Which is just their way of saying, let's recreate some scenes.
Hashtag Yudo Akiba Ranger.
In fact, that was something they brought up that I forgot to mention with the Faiz form today, or tonight. It basically just said, this never appeared in any fiction, so let's just make up some scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Well, it's like that
And
whole
part of
story when they did the Dr. Gamer form for Build. And they were like, yeah, we thought that, we'd just do this thing that appears for half a second because they designed it.
Yeah. I meant to bring that up, too, because Faiz form is kind of this weird thing where it is distinctly a game-exclusive form. I thought that you could call Dr. Game that, but it might just be this weird situation where you see it in the movie, and it also happens to be heavily utilized in the game.
I think that, and maybe I'm misremembering this, I feel like when I talked about this with friends during Build, the vibe was Dr. Gamer was, oh, we're going to have room to do these other forms too, and then the rest of Build happened. And it was like, oh, wait, they're coming up with all this extra stuff for us. What the... hard
30?
what? Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, all I remember about that post is that I specifically went back because I had to kind of debunk the idea it was a game exclusive form, and the text basically just said, this appears in the movie, and also Gombarizing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do remember it, like, in the movie. The separate parts.
Yeah.
For a brief second.
CGI thing, just like
then
Rabbit Dragon.
I think that, that the showing the Butaba Soul coin for the Faiz form is also them going like, look, they designed a form. And
Yes.
we set the precedent. They designed forms for some of those other armors that we did. Those never were in the shows, but they designed those.
Side note,
Yeah.
the Butaba Soul medals look really cool. They constantly surprise me because they actually keep just dipping into stage show exclusives.
Oh, wow.
What?
Like
Oh.
the Ghost from the Future that's just like default ghost with white instead of orange.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh man, that's got to be the next escalation for Soto Chronicle or something, is like Soto Chronicle stage shows.
Oh yeah, we were legitimately debating, so when are they going to do Zangetsu Kachidoki arms?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Not
that's
if,
so that's
not
that's
if, when.
that's not a stage show.
Yeah.
That's a stage show. Like
Hey.
there's a capital S on that one.
I was going to say it's a stage play.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zangetsu's
Fancy.
actor straight up says, I'm honored to be in the first and last Kamen Rider stage play of the Heisei era.
That got they recorded a performance of that, right? Like I remember that's getting a disc release.
there is a
Yeah.
DVD.
Okay.
It comes with the ride
Yeah,
watch.
don't worry. They are definitely selling you a Kachidoki ride watch with it.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
DX, in fact.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's
Not a Lockseed, which would make more sense,
Yeah,
but a ride watch.
No Lockseed yet.
Nope.
I mean, DX ride watch is already better than the 01 ride watch that they put out the other week.
Oh, yeah, wait. Is that, oh yeah, that's one of the quote-unquote DXs.
Yeah, that's the one where it's like it looks like a DX till you try to push the button, and then you're like, wait, this button doesn't do anything. Oh.
Oh, it lied to me.
That's also when I realized, every time that they've sold these, we just assume that they're DXs because of the design, but they never actually say DX.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a candy one right down to like hold the button down until it says Jiku driver, and then
Yeah.
it knows you're trying to use it with the belt.
Which, by the way, that's a real game changer for those cheap collectibles.
Yeah.
Just like that was another thing that the blog talked about, where they're like, it has this alternate mode that you can access by holding this down.
It's a
Which
lot
is
nicer than like the. I still remember the days of the Candy Toy Gaia memories, and the whole like you had to keep track of where you were in the linear line of sound effects for it to actually work with the belt.
Did you ever actually get those the Gashapon or Candy Toy ride watches?
No, with ride watches, I stuck very specifically to making the tower that's in Sogo's kitchen.
Good.
I still
that's a good constraint.
Yeah, and I still need to get the Decade watch. I just genuinely don't think it's a very interesting toy, so I put it off because
Oh,
well,
wait.
there is
I just thought-
a Gashapon Decade watch if you want that one instead.
I mean the DX one now. I've seen it on Mandarake sometimes for under 2,000 yen. So I'm like, it's mostly the part where I was hoping it would have a whole bunch of dedicated fancy pants noises for whatever rider watch you attach to it.
Oh yeah, forms,
and then it just says names, and I'm like, that's not like it's bad. It's just I built up a different thing in my head. But I that's the only one I'm missing now. So someday I don't think it's ever gonna disappear. So one day it's gonna end up as part of a Mandarake order.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say was the cool thing about those ride watches is that they really do work as advertised. Like, when you have to kind of do this weird thing if you don't have the belt, where you kind of have to hold it down and then let go and push it again to kind of trigger different sounds. And once it plays the transformation, you can just kind of let go of the tab and it'll start playing the standby for the finisher. And it's just like, cool, it actually has its own separate mode, like advertised.
Yeah. And they put in all the sounds it's supposed to do, which is, I thought, it's a really nice touch. Like, again, I always look at the double Gaia memories, and, like, to me, like, that's kind of the base state that we've evolved from.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That was very comprehensive, and we went all over the place. That was wonderful.
Well, I mean, I'm just excited to be on a podcast where I don't have to pause and spend 5 minutes explaining what Shodo is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's interesting to be on one where we take for granted what Shodo is, because it is still a weird toy line. Like, it's even though it's in its third year, you know, going on to its fourth series now, like, it's I think it's kind of like when there was a couple years of people catching on to how good Mini-Pla was.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're heading through now with Shodo. The fact that they have premium Bandai Chronicle sets is telling me that we're on the up and up, like that it's only going to get better. But
yeah, when I tried explaining Shodo to someone, it briefly sounded like I was getting ripped off and was not aware of it.
a lot of people react to those stickers like that, and
well,
I've had to
not
tell
just
them,
that,
like,
but also like just like explaining to them. So it comes in two different things you have to buy: the body and the armor. And it's like, oh no, they're actually very cheap.
Yeah. Well, no, I've
I've
had that, and someone's like, so they're making you buy 2 toys? I'm like, no, they took a toy that would have been 800 yen, and they're selling it to me in 2 400 yen pieces. Like, it's still an 800 yen toy.
And the genius move is that by selling them as separate pieces, they can put more into both tabs.
Yeah, and by using the stickers, they can, like, truly look nicer than Shodo toys. Like, the one thing about Shodo is that they have really nice paint on the parts that your eyes are drawn to, because there's no paint anywhere else. And so the thing Shodo does is, like, you know, granted, Shodo does not go comprehensive on the details, but Shodo does not have blank weapons, and that's always a problem with old Shodo stuff.
Yeah.
Motion revive.
Yeah.
And even, like, they didn't even go to the trouble of molding them in the right color. All of it's black.
Yeah, and it's like the sculpt is there,
sure.
and it's all black, so it's like, okay, I could prime it and paint it, I guess, but...
Like, what is this, Bandai's Power Rangers?
That's right. Although those are on the up and up now, too. And I should say, that new Shodo Shocker Goon set, you know, another other Goons set, like, a bunch of stuff, like, the weapons in there seem to be painted. And I'm pretty sure there's a point where Shodo started painting the weapons that I'm just forgetting about.
Wait. Was I not there for that meeting? Because, like, my new Faiz, no painted weapon. My black RX, no painted lightsaber looking thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm mostly talking about that weird golf. I always call it the weird golf club thing that the Shocker guys have. Like it's silver and the heads are red.
Oh,
is it a premium Bandai?
I guess
set?
that would be too hard.
Did you say it was premium Bandai?
The Shocker Goon set.
Yeah.
No, that was that Shodo something set. It was retail.
So I guess it was just that these designs are so simple, maybe we can put some work into paint.
Yeah, or I mean, those accessories are all accessories that have been with other figures too.
That was the very last Shodo Versus, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was like after shodo-x already started. I was really wigged out when I saw the numbers on the figures, because I was like, I thought you stopped this. And then
I thought we were done. I thought we were just trying to.
And then I was also really frowning because I was like, these Shocker Riders are actually useless to me. I already bought all. I thought these were shodo-x Shocker Riders. I mean,
Man,
one of them comes with a briefcase that I don't have, so I can give them all briefcases now.
And shodo-x does not have its own Takeshi Hongo.
Yeah, he was in that last Shodo Versus, right?
Yeah. Nor do they have a tiger with cannons protruding from his back.
Yeah.
So is that.
I mean, the shodo-x Shodo difference is, I mean, I understand it's there, but it's like, it's so minor. I'm like, these can go next to each other and it's fine.
Well, they can, but also that first Shodo wave, they had the hard plastic on the antenna, and for the most part, those always broke on me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that, like, oh, gummy plastic now. Like,
yeah.
It looks gummy, but I'm fine with not having to ruin just a figure by it toppling over the, I don't know, the shelf or something.
And for those who want to know, in case you have to deal with one of those being warped from how they don't really put care into packaging Shodo figures, they kind of just stuff them into those bags. If it's soft PVC, get a cup of boiling water and dip the soft PVC part in for a bit, and it will often reset itself.
Yeah, I've done that with the Chibi build figures that they did for Gashapon Remix Riders.
Yeah, I've done that with some Shodo antennae before, and it's when it doesn't always work perfectly. You might still have to tweak stuff a bit, but it often works really well. And it's a great way to counter the, like, considering how they're trying to portray Shodo in a little bit of a higher end of late. I'm kind of like, you're doing that, but you're also still cramming all the parts into this one long bag, like into a box. But yeah, if people are listening to this, they're probably already into Candy Toys. But hey, get your friends to listen to this one, and hey, Candy Toys are great.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
And, like, they're in such a good place now. And just look at some of the photos like these guys have taken. Look at Malunis' photos, and tell me, like, that Ride Plus Wave 1. Like, do you honestly think you're gonna be able to wait for fig arts of those figures? I bet you no, you're not gonna be able to.
Yeah, and these are, like, way more fun and more complete.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is, like, it's completion, and the figures are 800 yen a piece for the most part, give or take. So, like, you can just get the figures you like. They look good, they play as good as a G.I. Joe, and if you mess something up on one, you can get another one.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing about Shodo that is so fun. Shodo as well, but Shodo more so, I think, because I find Shodo, it's a little harder to find singles, or at least, like, reliably. Like, Shodo singles are always all over the place, and it's like, if you mess up a sticker, if you drop the figure off a cliff or something, if you just lose it, like, maybe you're spending an extra $10-$12, but you can get another one. You know,
for when you're stickering your Shodo above a cliff.
Yeah, for when you're hanging out of a gondola, you know, and
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has had that moment where they drop something on the rug, and then when I look down, they just do not see it anymore.
Yeah,
it bounced somewhere.
Or even worse, with a sticker, when you drop it, you move your chair to look for it, and you see it stuck to the wheel of the chair as it's moving.
Oh man!
And you're like, well.
Or, like, maybe when you drop the whole sheet and you push your wheeled computer chair over the sticker sheet.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, well,
that's why they need to add a second one.
I feel like I've heard some of the justification is like, well, you can just call customer service, and I'm like, okay, thanks for reminding me we're not technically supposed to be buying these, but
thanks for reminding me that a Western audience doesn't exist.
But maybe you could also just put a second sticker sheet in, please.
Yeah. Then again, that, like, all the way doubles the cost of the stickers, I feel like.
Yeah, no, that would add easily like a buck or two, because those sheets, they're nice material. Yeah. There's a lot of printing on them. They're not straightforward. Like, they're good sticker sheets, and that's why I'm just happy it's not impossible to get second copies of any of this now. Like, the most expensive Shodo toys you ever see that are not in the midst of a spike, like, you wait long enough, most Shodo figures cap out at, like, 1,500 yen for the 2 boxes you need.
Yeah, just about.
Like the Ichiban Kuji ones, the lottery prize figures cap out at 2,000 yen.
Oh man, I was elated when I saw that price.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be paying like $100. I wouldn't pay $100 for it, but I thought someone's gonna list it for
I'm just gonna say that is my favorite sort of transition with this podcast, where you went from, I hate that this exists, I have to buy this, and then next time you're like, I don't mind picking up more of these now that I know it's easy to get.
Yeah, now that 2 of them have happened, and it turns out if you wait 2 months, they're just all over the aftermarket. It's like, oh,
yeah.
It turns out some people didn't want this as a price.
There was,
like, whoever.
There was legit a point where I wanted to make the joke of, hey, wouldn't it be funny if this ended up as a lottery item? And Corey just now goes, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, really, you're paying a slight premium, which not great, but you get it. Like, and it's an exclusive. You get that exclusive tag on it too.
And the fact that, like, for the 2 lottery prizes, or basically every difficult one to get, right? The first 2 were from those end of year boxes, and it was like, here's an Exade form from a Hyper Battle DVD, like whatever the you know, Karate Boxer,
like half
part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then like in build, they're like, I don't know, here's Rogue with a cape, here's Prime Rogue. And
oh my god, I bought the whole box thinking that I was gonna be in some trouble.
Yeah,
Nope.
I've still never looked at anything else in that build box. it's still borderline sealed on top of a bookshelf because I was just like, I just want to know I have Prime Rogue.
I mean,
I was impressed that the shirt actually fit me because I'm a huskier man, and that's meant for like a Japanese person's body.
Yeah.
That was never supposed to fit me, but it does.
But then we move into these actual lottery prize ones where it's not like you just put it in order to get one. And I like that they are sticking to like, okay, these are going to be Chronicle based. What's a weird double form? How about Cyclone to go with Joker? And then with Deno, it's like, okay, Nega Deno, the guy who was in one movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Those were both my reason for, at the time, oh, these make sense as lottery items that no one's going to want them that much.
Yeah, like Cyclone is from a novel. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So technically it shouldn't exist, but here we are.
Surprisingly,
I'm glad it does.
We've seen it more often than we should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Guys, I don't know, we've gone... Oh, wow.
2
Yeah,
hours.
that
2
happens
hours,
when I
13
go on other
minutes.
people's podcasts. I just make the time go way too long.
That's fine. I love talking about shodo, all that. And specifically because, like, you were the person that sort of got me into it.
Same.
Inadvertently.
Oh, it was always the plan.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for being on. This was a treat.
No, I mean, full transparency, like, I was like, yeah, I'm up for coming on, and then I got a message saying, like, oh, also, it turns out I'm in a TCG tournament until, like, late at night. But luckily you guys are in a time zone where it's not, like, brutally late at night, compared to mine, so it worked out.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I mean, thank you guys for checking out all the old media I was making, and I'm not done making it, despite what, the odd comment will want to imply.
Don't worry, I will remain a patron as long as I can.
And thank you for being a patron and, like, being in my really weird, derelict Discord room.
Which also, yes, guys, go to his Patreon and definitely subscribe. It's like, you set it up in a way where, like, I don't know that anyone else has, where it's like video based, like if I upload this amount, which is really nice, very generous, because like some people just let it run.
So it's weird because it's the way I do Patreon is I do it as it's per entry rather than per month. So there's a way where that can be seen. I was worried because I was like, I prefer the idea of having to post something to ping getting paid. But then, what if I put up, like, 3 or 4 things and someone gets really annoyed by that? But then I discovered, and it's not publicized well enough in their user interface. That's why I make such a big deal about it in that, like, welcome to the Patreon video. There's a monthly cap you can set. So you become, like, a $2 or $3 patron, set your monthly cap to $2 or $3, and then you're like a monthly patron, but I have to post something. And then if you decide, like, no, I want to just have no monthly cap, because I'm sure that you're gonna be inactive, and then, like, I will be for a few months, but then suddenly I'll put up like 15 videos and you're like, oh no, $150.
Oops.
But yeah, that's how I'd like to do my Patreon. It's accountability, and then if you know how the whole system works, it's not super, like, it's not something I can abuse, which is something I was particular about.
Yeah, so yeah, it's really great, and you get access to his private Discord. Well, the channel.
It's like
the Patreon Discord.
It's like I have a Discord channel. Currently I only have sent the URL to patrons. I'm not sure if I think I put up an invite link that's perpetual now. I think I actually don't remember. So I should go double check that, or at least put up a post. I should put up a post there saying, "Hey, if you're new," because I had like 1 or 2 people join recently. But yeah, we got a little Discord that currently is just for patrons and people on my podcast because we use it to record as well. And I keep it that way because I figure like this way, it's mostly just chill people in there, and it's calm. Because the one thing I don't want to ever have to bother with is moderating if I can avoid it. I hate moderating. So by having the patron not be super public, it's like, okay, we will have maybe 4 people interacting at once at most. And y'all are pretty good about everything. Like, we had a bit where I was yelling about Robotech, and then unfortunately someone in there was like, hey, I'm actually on a Robotech podcast. And I felt guilty. But if I recall correctly, I think I was like, it's not you, it's Harmony Gold. I like Robotech too, and I'm mad that I always have to think about them. But and I mean, there's sometimes patron exclusive stuff that goes up, although it's never hard patron exclusive. It's just sometimes I'll put up a thing and say like, hey, here's the thing I'm working on. Like there was a Unite Warriors Bruticus combination I still have never actually made the review for, but I put up a preview of that a couple years ago. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I need to remember where I put that Bruticus. But thank you very much. I'm just talking about myself now. So that's
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. This is the plug portion.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check me out, I'm Vangelus on Twitter. I'm Vangelus Central on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. I don't remember what my friend code is, but I usually play video games by myself, so it wouldn't be helpful for me to share it anyway.
I guess so.
Like I have a Switch, but I've only played Odyssey on it. I've spent the last year and a half not quite finishing Odyssey. I just play it very slowly. But yeah, please check out stuff I do if you like toys and stuff. If you like Soto, I'm not on a regular Toku podcast, but we have a Transformers podcast. And I was on Henshin Justice while that podcast was ongoing. So there's some of that, but that's all very old now. So my opinions in there are probably like the kinds that would make me cringe, I think is the word they use.
I mean, if you're thirsty for Candy Toy Vangelus content, there is the Motion Revive video that I watched like 100 so times, just so I could see as much information as I could from it. And yeah,
that video I think might be 10 years old.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Because I was
just that's the time we had.
I was just thinking recently. In fact, like I think I posted a clip from Kabuto episode 2 recently, and just said about 10 years ago, this is how I got into Rider. It was just like the Rider kick from episode 2 of Kabuto.
That would have been 3 years ago, I guess, when you. Oh no! Unless you mean you didn't watch it when it aired, then yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kabuto is in fact about 13 years old now.
Whoa. Well, guys.
No. Okay, I'm only doing this because I get it the worst. Because like I now can comfortably say I have multiple times had people say, "Yeah, I used to listen to your podcast in high school. Now I just finished my degree."
Well,
I just went to middle school.
not to break it to you, but I listened to your podcast in high school. I just got my degree today, or last week.
3.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. Now we're here. So, guys. Oh, also, Malunis. Check out all the links to his stuff in the description down below. He's also been doing the Soto blog post updates that are all translated and nice, and you can understand them.
Yes.
You don't have to sift through Google. Gobbledygook.
I will probably get this latest one up tomorrow.
Please support those and tell everyone involved, Malunis included, how great they are, so that more people say, "Oh, we should start providing Malunis with resources to keep doing these." And
yes. Yeah.
I'm very biased. I just want those Exade ones eventually translated. I'm very, very selfish and biased.
Fair enough.
I mean, let them know. There's demand for it, just like there is demand for Soto content on Vangelus' channel. I would love to see that.
Correct.
Yes, good stuff. And as always, just subscribe here on RR Infinity. And yeah, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you again for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Vangelus. Yeah. And yeah. See you guys next week then. Keep it juicy.
Semper Faiz. That one's for the Dragonite fans.
Stay safe.
Start up. 3, 2, 1. Time out. Deformation.
衝動は